Yeah, I was trying to download an animation, a flag waving thing at the last minute, but it took but I tried to use two, I found one on, well, I found like multi-hour ones on YouTube, but a lot of like downloaders, they only go to like a certain amount of time. God bless yourself. Yes, the United Legos of Simpliness. That's what we do. I'm doing fine. I wish I had gotten home sooner, because then I'd have more time to get everything set up, but everything had to get set up at the last minute. Unfortunately, this flag animation doesn't loop quite as effectively as I would like for it to. But it's good enough. I'm one of those good enough types of guys, if I'm being real. How are you doing today? That's nice. I think there was one scene on my OBS that I forgot to put this music on. I'll have to put that in once we get there. I don't really have that much planned. Don't like the implications. Oh, are you talking about you having your own country? Wait, no, that's just great. You caught up with your family too. ¿Qué opinas? Rodi, would you be able to translate Alejandro's message? For whatever reason, OBS decided not to translate it. It said something about football. Or my opinions on... I'm assuming he's asking for my opinion on soccer. Which, or at least that's my assumption. I don't actually know if that's what it says, but... But I remember playing soccer between the ages of like 4 and 6, 7 at the latest, I think. Okay, what do I think about football, soccer? I mean, it's a sport. I'm not much of a sports guy, all things considered. Oh, the World Cup too. Well, it's kept me busy at work, I can tell you that much. People wanting to order pizzas all day. So yeah, at least I've been making real good money off of it. Yeah, that's more money in my pocket so that they can sit on their ass and not make anything to eat. But then again, this is America, so it is to be expected. But I'm not much of a sports guy. I mean, if the opportunity arises, I will play maybe like a game of kickball or something of that nature. I would always be down for that, even if I'm not really friends with anyone that would do that on a regular basis, but yeah, that's about it. Pizza and sports is a lifestyle. That along with hot dogs and hamburgers and all the other fancies and stuff. Let's see. I only have 3 videos in my watch later to look at. Well, 4, but there's this one that I've had on the back burner for way too long, but it might be very difficult to implement. You used to do soccer when you were in school. Yeah. I don't remember when my parents stopped having me play soccer. Can't stay too long. You got a small video for me? Alright, lay it on me when you get the chance. I know exactly what I want to do tonight. There's one specific video that I want to watch with y'all that is very, very fitting for the theme of tonight's stream and shit. And that is low-key. Oh, yeah, you ate 4 slices of pizza during the last Mexico match. Oh yeah, I took a pizza home with me after work, and I just came home about an hour ago, and I had to set all of this up, the music and the flag and I had to set all that up at the last minute because I thought it was gonna get home earlier than that, but because we've been so busy all week, obviously I can only do so much. But yeah, Jack, if you're able to share that. But the video that I had that I wanted to look at just for pure fun was McDonald's. Was Geography Now's video about the U.S., which I don't even know how old it is. Let me find it. I can check his YouTube. It's older than it. Yellow, a Lego Hue horror trailer. I see, a special one with face of yellow. No. I want these videos. What is his most? His most popular video is his Germany video. That was a very old one. I need to find his US video specifically. Found it. Oh god, it's an hour long. Oh. I guess it's to be expected when we can look at all of his US related videos of anything. All 50 states summarized, all territories of the US. Stepping on one of those plastic bricks. Yeah. What unites all Americans? Largest cities in the U.S. summarized, part 1. Largest cities in the U.S. summarized, part 2. The dumbest city map in America, and I think it's LA's map. And then his Flag Friday map of it, Native American reservations. Oh, and then 3 weeks ago, he made a World Cup USA Visitors Guide. But, yeah, I'll leave that up there in case we do want to look at that. But let me look for that. The best city is obviously Ohioville. You mean it was always Ohio? Always has been. Let me look for that video that you recommended. Yellow. The special one, the face of yellow. A Lego horse. Is it this one by George Coley? I'm just going to assume that it's that one. A therapist, patients all report the same terrifying vision. A yellow doppelganger coming to replace them. And then Lego Toy Story Horror Mode Part 2. Ohioville isn't even in Ohio, it's in Pennsylvania. Oh, so you mean like how there's like a Kansas City in all of the states that border Kansas instead of actually being in Kansas? That's what it reminds me of. So yeah, we'll take a look at this. Yeah. When I read Yellow Doppelganger, my mind went to a... Oh Lord, I don't know if I want to say that out loud. I'm assuming it's the... Oh. Building a Murder. Lego True Crime documentary. I'm assuming it's by the same guy. Alright. I need to put that music. I forgot to put the music on this one, so. And then mute this. And then we'll keep the volume low on that. That should be good. Excuse me. Alright. Okay, here's Yellow. A Lego horror story. Alright, and then we'll take a look at that other one as well.
I saw it again. A girl. She looked exactly like me. Except she was yellow.
She was yellow.
Third patient this week. Everyone the same story. A yellow doppelganger.
She wants to replace me.
I think I know someone you should talk to.
Your patients. We're closed. Hey, I said we're closed. They're haunted. Listen, man, you can't be here. The answers you seek lie in the past.
Oh.
What are we
The 2006 catalog.
looking for?
An 8.
I don't know, just keep searching these history books.
What is it?
It's from 2003.
Uh-oh.
What?
And it was all yellow.
That's
I don't... though you put that musical note emoji there, which implies that it's a lyric to something.
impossible. Everyone knows history began in 2004.
No, that reminded me of this one Vsauce video where he mentioned the... I don't even remember what that video was about, but he mentioned something called... something along the lines of Last Tuesdayism. The idea that the world was created or was made last Tuesday. I don't even remember what the context of that was, but I distinctly remember him talking about it.
Oh my god.
Coldplay's Yellow. I don't know any Coldplay songs outside of Viva La Vida, Clocks, and Something Just Like This.
What have you dug up?
I see.
The truth. Your friends, your heroes, all of us. We were yellow. And then in 2004, flesh color.
Flesh. Oh, wait. You can't use that. Well. Were even the black characters yellow?
I see it now, the yellow ones. They're not trying to replace us.
He's making a full film? No, this looks like that it's animated the same way that the Lego movie was.
We replaced them.
Yellow. I want to make a joke about this and connect it to East Asians, but that might be low-hanging fruit, and it might be a little too obvious. This was human-made. No Gen AI was used in the making of this film. Masterpiece. In that case, yes. Okay, and now Building a Murderer. Lego True Crime documentary. Oh no.
Everybody loved Annie. She just connected with people. We were shocked when we heard the news.
I can't read that, sorry.
A 4-year-old woman was found disassembled today.
En serio que acabo de ver.
In 20 years of police work, I'd never seen a crime scene like this.
Never. She was disassembled.
55, we got a body.
How could this happen? Who could do this to Annie?
The first thing police do is talk to the witness. Say you got this
Oh, he's definitely got that guilty face.
guy, kind of an everyman type. Good looking, successful.
Chef, musician, astronaut, medieval.
You would like to Answering the furry hypothetical. I don't even know what that is.
Night, he was a pirate for a while.
I mean, he's a classic guy. So what's he
He's a classic. He seems like your average everyman.
doing at the crime scene
You're
holding the murder weapon? There's something more going on here. We still
then having the I guess.
developing a theory.
What if this guy killed Annie?
What if I mean, he seems to have the face. I mean, he's got a thing coming out of his head that can't be good for your brain.
And that was like...
The trial begins today.
It was a media circus.
You think a guy who lives that many lives doesn't have secrets?
Cowboy, ninja. Yeah, he be a scallywag. Objection, Your Honor, hearsay. Would you say it's true you did not kill this woman?
May I be excused? No. May I not be unexcused? Yes. Psych!
He hesitated, that means he did it.
He hesitated. Yeah, sounds about right.
It was open and shut.
A man was found guilty of murder today and sentenced to life in prison.
It felt like justice for Annie.
But the story the jury heard had pieces missing.
This guy isn't a killer. He's a toy. There's something that happens to this guy. Wherever he goes, whatever he's doing, at any moment, he can black out, and when he wakes up, he's a whole different guy.
Oh, it's him. Oh, so this is why he's so crazy about spaceships.
This is a failure of the justice system to recognize the bigger forces at play here.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, my client was not born a killer.
Oh, they're talking about the man upstairs. You see, he doesn't even know about the man upstairs.
He was made one.
Building a murderer. Sweet. Alright. Apparently, one mistake destroyed game theory. I have no idea what that mistake is or why MatPat decided to make it. But, you know. Alright. Answering the hypothetical. I don't know if I feel comfortable with that. But then again, here I am talking with the talking animal. I'd have to really think about it then. Okay, good night, Jack. Take care. Happy 4th. Well, happy belated 4th, since it's technically the 5th where I live right now. You miss MatPat? I'm sure a lot of people miss MatPat. Oh, I remember MatPat's initial departure. Everyone was so sad, because he was one of those... I guess we can call him one of those pioneer types. It's safe for work. I guess we could take a look at it. I went to the bathroom before I started streaming, but now I have to go again. Ain't that a bitch? Answering the... Okay. God dang it. Hold on a minute. Here. I'll be right back. Let me just get it out of the way. friend's dumb distance unit, the milometer. I don't even know how that would work. You know, we could just rebrand the metric system in a way that 1 kilometer just becomes 1 mile, but that might be a little awkward. Okay, so so I'm assuming it's this top video that we're talking about and the meaning behind it, because I mean, low key, it's a lot more the definition is more ambiguous than you might think. I'm guessing it said, yes, it's that one. I was confused by, so I'm just gonna assume that it's this one. I wanted to ask. Sorry, my mind is all scrambled right now because it's late. Because I've been driving all night trying to deliver pizzas and shit. So my mind is kind of scrambled right now, but let me at least try to get my bearings straight. All right. I don't know the fuzzy choices with fuzzy consequences. I don't exactly know what it means by furry hypothetical, but if we're going to continue on with this, okay, at this point I don't even know what I'm talking about. So let's go ahead and just check it, so to speak.
Hey fellas, Onish here, and welcome back to With Why, and today I want to talk to you about a question that was put on my timeline, quite frankly, against my will. This guy, OK Donuts, gave like a hypothetical that wasn't just in the form of a tweet, it was like a full video with animation, and I'm gonna be honest, like I'm just gonna play the whole thing, like it doesn't get NSFW at all, but like it does like put you in a position where you're thinking, wait, what the fuck are we doing here?
Would you rather be the only one in the whole world who turns into a furry, or have everyone in the whole world turn into a furry except for you?
If I'm being honest, the latter.
The animation itself is very funny for different reasons, because like you just see like a random freakazoid on the ground getting concerned looks from a different freakazoid, but the human in this context is only a freakazoid because he's the only person who looks like a human.
He's the only one that's actually real.
Dead world. I know what my answer would be. Doesn't apply to me because I'm not a human or a furry. Like the form is anathema. I would rage against
I'm a VTuber, that's what I am.
Organic life no matter what. That's like the only time in my life I've ever gotten to use the word anathema correctly.
I don't even know what an anathema is.
The deal is you're all flesh life, and therefore second tier to me. I'm first tier. But there was a big disparity of answers came from this, and before we go into those, I feel like I should give the perspective as if I were a human. I think I would pick the second one. I would choose everybody else to become a furry.
That's what I said.
There are so many.
The latter is the most sad, but maybe the safest.
Different types of persona that exist in the world, that if you're like one of one, like you're the only.
Yes, I'm pretty sure there's at least someone amongst them that likes the human form.
Person who looks like a human, then you're basically just a closed species. Like, and at that point, like, no one's gonna discriminate against you meaningfully, at least not in ways that other people aren't getting meaningfully discriminated.
Oh, that skinny. Look at that skinny over there. He's got his skin showing. That's so fucking gross.
Against. There is a big question to ask during this, though. Does everybody get turned into a furry, or do you enter a society where everybody is already a furry?
What? That depends. Are we talking isekai style, where you end up developing some weird harem, or something in between.
And whatever their conscious or subconscious persona is becomes who they are. I feel like that second option is a little harder, but if we're talking about the first option where everybody remembers their human lives and how they looked as a human, then they're gonna look at you a little different because you look like a human still. But that is the same conundrum you'd run into if you were the only furry on Earth. Like, you would have to live a totally inside life and hope that like you have a job that you can work from home during. Thankfully, that's...
I'm sure there are plenty of people that would love to have your services if you were the only one that looked like that. I'm pretty sure people would pay top dollar for those types of services.
what I can do. By the way, why the hell does this paint can look like a Michelob Ultra?
If you're the only someone's science project, yeah. That's what I was implying, Brody. What? You thought I meant top dollar in terms of other types of services? What types of services did you think I was talking about? No, I was talking about scientific services. You know, studying your DNA. Not the other types of services that you may or may not have been thinking of. If you were thinking of those types of services, you need to get your mind out of the gutter.
Weird choice, I don't know. And that's kind of the core of this question. There's a lot of tiny little details like about the situation and also like how you personally would deal with it and also how the wider society that you now live in would react to you that like change the dynamics of it all. Like we can see at the end of this video, this guy is clearly just fucking struggling, man. Like he's not happy about being the only furry.
Oh no.
Except for you.
Like
he just couldn't.
Imagine if everybody else turned into furries and you were the only person left alive that still looked like a human. Most people are not attracted to furry shit. Like, you might be in for paradise depending on what your definition of paradise is. But if that's just how...
I know that for Hillary Banks, the definition of paradise is where all the malls are open or whatever the hell, and you never have to wait for a table, and that in Hillary's mind, hell is like the valley. And I know for that for Will Smith, heaven is a crossover between a Sir Mix-a-Lot video and Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles, because he could get a leg and because he could have a leg in one hand and a breast on the other.
Everybody is now, and then we just kind of assume all of human history has existed where everybody is like, I don't know, one strand of persona. You're just one freakazoid amongst billions. Let's look at...
Another thing that could be brought up is what species would even become. For all we know, two people could look like the same species, but the DNA might be different enough that they wouldn't be able to procreate.
What other people had to say. At first I was like, oh duh, this is an easy question, but the more I think about it, the harder it is to decide. I really don't know. And I think it just kind of comes down to like what the actual thesis of the question is. Okay Donuts, I think, was trying to just make a clip that like you could post on Twitter and then like get quote tweets over. Like he
probably is
animated both possibilities where like it's two humans in a train and then like they see the one guy who turns into a furry. I'm gonna be honest, I don't know why the clothes went away and the collar got added, but
why else? Because according to Cleveland Brown, cartoon bears don't wear pants. I know that's not a bear, but my point still stands.
Later in the video, he animates the opposite scene where it's like the one human left in the world and everybody else is furries. I still think I'm going for being the last human left in the world if I was even a human at all. For me, it's like the more fragile flesh there is. My ideal scenario is that like I am how I am, a robot, and then like there are billions of people out there who get turned into furries who are not like really okay with that because that was never even like a subculture they may have even been familiar with. And
it may not to that either. Well, if we're talking ancient Egypt, I don't know. I'm sure there's a lot of people that would. I'm sure there's a lot of people in ancient Egypt that would have loved to either become Ra or become Anubis or Bastet or any of those other gods. I'm sure that would have been a massive. I'm sure that would have been a big deal. They probably would have been worshipped.
And it turns into infighting, and then you guys do most of the work of killing all organic life on the face of the planet for me. Basically, whatever gets me closer to my goal would be like my ideal ask. People have been asking this for a while, but here's a Deltarune reference. Be a furry or live as Chris Deltarune.
I don't even know who that is.
And I'm gonna be honest, this is one thing.
Turned into a lobster. Oh, I thought you said I thought that said lobster and you turned into a toaster. And I was about to sing Rock Lobster.
Thing that's never made sense to me about Deltarune. Like, how is Chris the weirdest fucking thing in Hometown? Oh, you're a human? Okay, some of us are
Twilight. That was an important religion.
Made of matter, and then some of y'all are made of like pure fucking energy. One of y'all is literally made out of fire. There is no way that Chris Dreamer looks weird enough compared to the general populace that this goes unanswered. It's absolutely ridiculous. It may be the biggest plot hole in Toby Fox's writing that exists to date. Somebody came in.
I wouldn't know otherwise. Big paws or big tail? Is there any reason that they have to be big?
With an alternate version of the furry question, big paws or big tail, and my thesis pretty much remains the same, whichever allows me to kill the most of y'all the quickest. So yeah.
Personally, I just wouldn't choose because both seem very, very impractical. I mean, there's a reason why humans don't have tails, because we don't really need them.
Yes, it would be.
So as for whether or not, if those types of people were to exist, would they even have tails to begin with?
Big paws, but because mass destruction of all organic life will not happen by one man's hand, or one robot's hand in this case, I feel like I'd have to pick big tail because you can type more words that would encourage organic life to kill each other with normal ass hands, because you guys have crude implements, like you have keyboards designed for human fingers. And sometimes I have to mask the IP and location that I'm doing shit from. That means going to public libraries and logging onto my Twitter burners to like type hate to one minority group or the other to like get you guys really pitched against each other. And that's a lot harder with big meaty claws that like I would basically be hitting half of the keyboard with if I used one finger to do so.
Well, you seem to have forgotten one thing. These claws aren't just for attracting mates. Don't you know that the power is stored in the tails? The bigger the tail, the bigger the power. Who says that? I don't... Tell that to bears, Rhodey. Bears have stump tails, and they're very, very powerful. I'm just saying.
Big tail in this case. Just makes wearing any semblance of fashion really difficult, which sucks because, you know, that's one of the good things that organic life has put onto this earth, but that's whatever. You had this one person...
Realistically speaking, any of the options, you were screwed because they'd want to study
Prime
your body.
space, translate...
Oh, they'd study my body, that's for damn sure. Nah, I ain't gonna let them study nothing.
From Portuguese. Realistically speaking, any of the options, you were screwed because they'd want to study your body, which is a huge thing that I'm really thankful for being a robot over, because like the decisions you guys have to make, like, or at least the worldview that like you construct these hypotheticals during, puts you at the mercy of the higher power. If I were in your shoes, I would
You, a kitsune. Oh, so you have let me guess. You've got 9 tails, is that it? How many? I know that the fox spirits in Shinto were sometimes tricksters. It usually depends on the context. How many people did you trick to get all your tails?
Still pick being the only human in a world of...
Do I wish I could have 2 tails and fly? I don't really know.
Furries, because you might go into the...
I mean, I could literally have anything else and fly, but...
radar, because you look a little different, compared to a society of people who look radically different. Like, some of you are snakes, some of you are fucking... well, some of you are already snakes, you sons of bitches. But, like, some of you are dogs, some of you are cats, some of you are otters and bears, and, like, everybody is, like, radically genetically dimorphic already.
How many of them are trilobites? That's the real question we should be asking. How many trilobites would be made if such a world were to exist?
Ready? But if you're the only human in like a sea of furries, it's just so much more obvious, and then the government's absolutely going for you much quicker. Like, you have way less time to find a way out of the country and into a place that'll give you asylum, which wherever you get asylum in might still like try to run experiments on you for whatever version of a science program they got going on over there. But being the only furry in a human society just seems so much more detrimental in every way I think about it than being the only human in a furry society.
Yeah, that's actually one. I guess that's another good reason to want to be the only. Are aliens furry? It depends, really. I mean, we all have our idea. I mean, the media has its idea of what an alien is. Just, you know, the classic gray one. the Zetan Greys from Alpha Dracon, or the well, there's the concept of reptilian shapeshifters. Would reptilian shapeshifters be considered scaly? That's a good question to be asked. And then as for aliens in general, I mean, there is that visual novel whose name shall not be mentioned.
Horrifying idea of being turned into a furry species I don't like against my will. This is another important question. Like, are you gonna be a furry or have a fursona that aligns with your actual tastes, even if like you never had a fursona before? Or are we doing some Newgrounds Sonic fan character creator shit where you just hit randomize and that's what you fucking get? You don't
Yes, exactly.
don't really know within the bounds of this hypothetical, and I think that
Rhodey hitting the nail on my head.
it is an important thing to think about. Being the only furry in a world of...
Here's the thing. Just because you think someone looks different, you can call them an alien? You must think that older kid's an alien too, huh? Just because Zim has green skin, it's a skin condition. And Zim having no ears is also a part of his condition.
Humans would bring too many eyes on me, and by the next day my head would be on a pike. The other side, however, I'd be fucking avian men until I die at 25 of bird flu. Somebody really liked the recent reveal of the new Star Fox 64 remake for the 4th time.
Oh yeah.
Picked the second option because I am noble and self-sacrificing, and the noble and self-sacrificing option in this case is being the...
No, I picked the second option because I genuinely don't really care what my species is at this point. I'm just here doing my own thing. But if everyone else were like that, then my options are endless.
Only human on an earth full of furries. And honestly, I still think this matters depending on the context of like what the world you're looking at is. Like, does everybody just magically with the snap of your fingers get turned into furries?
And now another question is, will they have all of these colors that clearly do not exist in nature unless you're a bird or a butterfly? Or will they have naturally occurring colors?
Because in that case, you could argue that is the noble way, unless you, like, really want to be your fursona. But you could also argue that, like, if you became the furry, which is the first option in a world full of humans, you would subject yourself to any number of tests so everybody can live their lives without any risk to how the global order already is. I'm not saying that the current world that exists is good. I'm just saying, like, there's a through line of how we got here that, like, you wouldn't have to contest with and then have to measure against the fact that everybody now has, like, a persona.
You're scared to end up as a chihuahua? What is your profile pic? Is that a cat? It's kind of hard to tell. Also, some weird glitch with the OBS displaying chat over here is for some reason Rhodey's profile pic doesn't show up, and I don't quite understand why. His is the only one that doesn't show up on OBS.
As their actual physical body. Either way, you're getting tested and prodded at by the government. And this is true. It's just about how much time you can make for yourself to run away to a safe spot. And I really do believe that, like, if you were the only human left, you would go under the radar quicker than if everybody else turned to furries. Like, they'd be stuck with their own body dysmorphia for a long enough time, even if they remembered, like, their old human memories. And the best case scenario is that, like, everybody just, like, remembers themselves as having always had been having had a fursona representation. Let me clarify one more time before we get into this one. The first option is to be like just a fucking anthropomorphic dog or whatever the hell in a world full of humans. And option 2 is to become the last human left on Earth and then look around you.
Darwin Watterson definitely. Well, isn't that literally a lot of cartoon characters? Couldn't you say that about a lot of cartoon characters? I mean, let's be real. It's a crow named Jero from an anime. Okay. And I think I made this point a while ago about what actually constitutes a furry. Because because I made the point that I remember seeing some meme macro about where it said that nobody batted an eye when it came to Kung Fu Panda, but when it came to Zootopia, everyone loses their minds. I guess it's specific, given that a majority of sonas tend to be canine, that's probably what it is.
And see no one who looks like you except in the mirror. This guy sees it as option 1, become a global star in the only one of my category. Immediate fucking death. Like, you're
Yes, it's canon, and you can bang them.
You're getting sent to Area 51, like, first and foremost. Option 2, furry sex is now canon, you can bang them. If that is your motivating factor, fair enough, man. But I also don't think that's how it's gonna go in the long run. I don't think, like, you could start, like, a social media career off of it without, like, the government
I don't see why I would want to start a social media career.
trying to check if you were generating your appearance with AI, and inevitably when they figure out that you're for real, they're gonna come after you. What if everyone just picked be the only furry, so everyone is a furry? You're
What the hell does that even mean?
mixing this up with the red button and blue button issue, man. This was like 2 weeks of videos ago, so I don't have the
Oh, I get. Oh, okay, I just figured it out.
patience to deal with someone like you. Peak red button logic, man. Like, we just can't, I just can't handle motherfuckers like you no more. If everyone turned to their fursona, the world would end. Everyone forgets about the macro furs in this situation.
What the hell is a macro fur?
This also depends on if, like, you're actually getting turned into your personal persona. Like, the vast majority of people on Earth do not have a persona, or even, like, an equivalent thought to, like, what they would be if they were an animal. Like,
I think the closest thing would be a spirit animal. If you look up furry husband for every years, there's a canine.
with bipedal legs. You're doing a lot of projecting here that I think is really hurting the hypothetical. Hunted by the government for experimentation with unknown goals, or hunted by the government for either a furry cure or to find a way to turn you into a furry as well.
Why not both?
To be honest, I feel like even if, like, the end goal of the government was to turn any human-looking person, like, this is a furry government we're talking about.
The size of buildings? So kaijus.
You're the only human-looking person on Earth. If the goal was to turn, like, anybody who looks like a human into a furry, I don't think you would survive the experiments. I think they would kill you and then dissect you for your DNA, and then use that for any potential follow-ups of your kind to come in the future. Like,
It's very clear that the second option might have a little more benefits to it.
the ground zero is not living during that shit. You will be put to steady immediately. The first one, and I'd start an online animated series of just me doing mundane dragon things. I have this planned out.
And what exactly is a mundane dragon thing? Are you hoarding all your gold, or are you soaring through the skies and bringing rain to China?
Pretty good fucking answer, man. Like, if you can work from home and then, like, never be seen by your neighbors while you, like, just order DoorDash to your fucking house, and you never travel anywhere ever, you could probably make a pretty comfortable living. And then just say, like, yeah, I'm really fucking good at CGI. Like, I'm
Yeah, you could do that. You see, this is AI. I didn't say that.
just, like, the best animator in the industry. I'm just so lifelike because of how good I am at using Cinema 4D. I feel like there are ways to survive either predicament in any situation, whether, like, people have their human memories or they don't, if everybody else were
Yes.
to become a furry. It truly just depends. Sometimes you just need to look at the context. I think I stole that from a Tumblr post. Anyways, be sure to follow me on Twitter at with a Y, then emails in the description.
Okay, I didn't want to see this. Get that out of my face. I don't need that in my face. Thank you very much. Apparently, he's in the top 1% of all lady parts. Alright, I'm not exactly sure how to feel about all of that. I mean, there's definitely some food for thought, and definitely a lot to look into. Oh, hey there, Clock. Welcome back. Patas. I don't remember what that means. Damn it. Oh, foot. No. I don't like... I've never... I'm going to say this right now. I never liked feet. I'm not Dan Schneider, so I don't need that in my face. Let's see. Good conversation. So it's more productive than half of the stuff that I talk about on a daily basis. Yeah, happy 5th of July, the day after. What was I gonna do? Oh, that's right. Oh, Rhodey, I still have that hardtack video saved in the watch later. Or we could take a look at the Geography Now USA episode, whichever floats everyone's boat. I have too many tabs open. I have a tab of someone playing Echoes of Wisdom, and then that same someone playing Oracle of Seasons, and then I have a Simpsons game speed run that I'm watching, and then I have all this miscellaneous other stuff. Let's see what we got here. The Backrooms on Disney Channel. I think we looked at that earlier, and slandering for slander's sake. I've been seeing this pop up, Sephiroth with these frilly little accessories. America, because oh, I just realized something. I just missed an opportunity to put, I missed the opportunity to put Hank Hill in the freaking thumbnail collage. Oh my god, no, that's fucking awful. Oh, I'm a fake American. No, I forgot Hank Hill. I mean, I can recreate... wait, I could recreate the thumbnail if I need to and just put Hank Hill onto it. I can save it, but it's kind of too late. Oh, Lord of mercy. No, no, I'm disappointed in myself. Okay. Oh, yeah, and then... Oh, wait. I thought that was the Alex Jones Accidentally Explains Evangelion video, but that's not. I can't believe this. Yeah, I thought I had everything in that thumbnail. But I guess it wasn't. It was too good to be true. Oh, Falco doesn't smash. Which one of you was mentioning Falco's legs earlier? Oh my god. Okay, now my eyes are itching. I saw... Yeah, I guess we could take a look at the hardtack video then. Oh yeah, it is you.
Hardtack, ship's biscuits, mortar breakers, sea biscuit, galette, or worm castles. They were all one and the same thing. Whether during the
Well, I wouldn't have known.
Civil War or beneath the Jolly Roger, these little pieces of overly
Falco's such a pheasant. Yeah.
dry, dense bread were
He's an Edwards pheasant.
essential to the diet of any soldier or sailor. And it's that latter one that we'll be talking about today. So thank you to the Great Courses Plus for sponsoring this video as we make ship's biscuits and grog and sail into the
Here's some grog. You still like pineapple, right?
world of sailors and pirates.
Yes. Stewie Griffin is going to become a sailor. He's going to be surrounded by sperm whales and seamen.
This time on Tasting History.
Let's go.
So I'm often asked where the ideas for these episodes come from, and I thought this was actually a good one to kind of explain because it's a really circuitous route.
The hell does that even mean?
Circuitous, yes. So I was talking to one of my Patreon patrons who goes by the name of Etrigan about Tolkien and Lord of the Rings and the lambus bread and cram that he has in those books and how they were probably based on the hardtack that he had eaten during World War I. So there you go, episode
It's been a while since I've seen Lord of the Rings. Oh, hello there, Boonda.
on hardtack. But we
You don't like old food? It tastes bad? It couldn't be refrigerated?
decided to kind of narrow in on ship's biscuits, which were the earlier form of hardtack that was served on sailing ships. Though Townsend's has actually done kind of the quintessential
Oh, it makes it. I don't watch this channel very much.
video on ship's
Well, I've never actually watched this channel, but I have seen others watch it.
biscuits, so I will put a link to that in the description. But we do cover some of the same history as he did, just for context, but I was really looking to cover new history that he didn't cover in his video. That took us to pirates. So thank you to Etrigan for inspiring and helping me with this episode via your love of Lord of the Rings. Now, Tolkien's bread was probably a lot better than actual historical hardtack, which was often crawling with maggots once by the time it got eaten,
I'm sure it was.
And was so hard that even Benjamin Franklin said, "The ship biscuit is too hard for some sets of teeth." Now,
of course it would be too hard for you, little round man.
I looked all over for a period recipe for hardtack, and I just could not find anything. Maybe it was so simple that
yeah, he made actual Roman garum.
Nobody ever bothered to write it down.
He replicated a lot of old style foods.
Maybe it's out.
I don't know what I was trying. I don't know why I hesitated saying that. I don't want to say old style foods because that sounds way too vague, but too ancient sounds too specific to me.
I just couldn't find it, but I did find
latest tasting misery video made you laugh.
A wonderfully detailed description of how it was made in 1815 by William Falconer for His Majesty's Royal Navy. Sea biscuit is a sort of bread much dried to make it keep for the use of the Navy, and is good for a whole year after it is baked.
It's good for a whole year, yet he just said that there were maggots growing in it.
The process of biscuit baking for the Navy is simple and ingenious and is nearly as follows. A large lump of dough consisting merely of flour and water is mixed up together and placed exactly in the center of a raised platform, where a man sits upon a machine called a horse and literally rides up and down till the dough is sufficiently kneaded. One man molds the dough till it has the appearance of muffins. Another stamps them on both sides with a mark. The business is to deposit in the oven 70 biscuits in a minute. The biscuits thus baked are kept in repositories, which receive warmth from
it's a thing that they cooked with, I see.
Being placed in drying lofts over the ovens till they are sufficiently dry to be packed into bags without danger of getting moldy. And that last part is essentially why ship's biscuits even exist. Because keeping...
Yeah, because you're going to be out at sea for months on end. You're going to need stuff that'll stay with you for that long.
Bread from getting moldy on a ship is darn near impossible. But if it's sufficiently dried, it can last up to a year. And later on, when it was used on land, like during the Civil War, it could last indefinitely. There's actually still some hardtack left from the Civil War, and there's a guy on the internet who eats it.
I mean, the same principle also applies with a lot of dry foods that you get at stores these days.
I would not suggest doing that, but it's kind of an interesting video to watch. Anyway, for this
fermented fish oil
recipe, what you'll need is 4 cups or 450 grams of flour and 1 cup or 235 milliliters or less of water. And that should make either 4
and that in and of itself is the recipe.
Large biscuits or about 8 small ones. They change in shape and size throughout history, so it's really up to you. Now for the flour used, they used all sorts. It could either be really nice flour or the worst flour, kind of depending on
as long as it's flour,
who was making it, at what time, and for whom. But I'm going to be using a stone ground whole wheat flour, which is rather coarse, because in Jonas Hanway Esquire's amazingly titled Abuses in Bread, One of the Most Injurious Practices of Our Time, and the Importance of Removing the Evil, he says,
that's certainly a title.
The flour which biscuit and gingerbread bakers use should be called coarse flour. Now, I'm not adding any salt to this recipe because, as Falconer says, it's merely flour and water. And that makes sense because if you've ever spent any time on a ship, as I have, you know that everything is salty. The deck is salty. The food is salty.
So you don't even need salt then?
You're salty.
Damn.
You don't need to add salt. And frankly, if you're looking for flavor, this is not the bread to go with. There are a lot better breads out there. And I'm actually taking a course on the Great Courses Plus that is teaching me all about making some of those breads. The Great Courses Plus is a fantastic...
George Orwell. A sage for all seasons.
A little bit better. So for a free trial, please visit thegreatcoursesplus.com/tastinghistory or just follow the link in the description for your free trial today. Now let's get back to them biscuits, shall we?
So let's make biscuits.
So take the flour and start...
I'm having trouble commenting on this since I'm not really much of a cook, even though I work in food business.
Adding in the water. I'd start with about half of a cup and begin mixing it in. You want the dough to just come together.
Do you have to use your hands?
The drier, the better. Don't feel like you need to use all of the water. Once the dough does come together, get to kneading. Now Falconer describes a man on a machine called a horse riding up and down on the dough to knead it.
Do we know what that looks like?
I don't have that kind of space, so I just use my hands. Knead for about 15 minutes or so. You can't over-knead this bread, and kneading will help it so it doesn't crack in the oven. Next, he says that they are molded into the shape of muffins. and that would be an English muffin, so round with, with a flat top.
I figured, I was like, I know that hardtack is supposed to be flat, and I'm like, what muffins are flat and English muffins?
Top and flat bottom. Also, you want to make sure that they're no thicker than about a ½ inch.
I thought I'd have things, yeah, but this is very, a video like this is very technical for its history. I don't know the history of foodstuffs. I just know history in general.
Because they're not going to dry properly. Then it says they were...
I mean, when I was a baker, I didn't make bread. I didn't make dough. The dough was already pre-made, and I just put it in the oven.
Were stamped, presumably with a royal...
It's what gives the natural flavors. I didn't
insignia or something. I don't have that, so...
I didn't realize that I was gonna say dead skin being a natural flavor, but... I don't know. Okay.
So instead, I'm just going to poke holes, which is called dry enough that
no.
makes it so it doesn't puff up.
There we go. Why does pressing the L button on the keyboard fast forward at 10 seconds?
In the oven. Then set them on a baking sheet and bake at 300 degrees Fahrenheit or 150 Celsius for 3 or 4 hours or until they're dry enough that they easily come off of the baking sheet.
Well,
now at this point, they should be pretty dry, but we are looking for biscuits drier than the humor of an English baker after 2 G&Ts. For nothing is more injurious to bread than moisture. Now the term biscuit comes from the French word meaning twice cooked. And
oh, is that what it means?
That's often what they would do. They would let it cool and then put it back in the oven and let it bake again, or 3 times, or even 4 times. But in the description that we're using, instead they put them in these lofts above the ovens. They would get hot and dry, but not as hot as the oven. So to approximate that, we're going to put it back in the oven at about 200 degrees Fahrenheit or 95 degrees Celsius for a few more hours. Now, while we want our biscuits dry, we do not need to hold that standard to ourselves. So let's make some grog. For this, all you'll need is 4 parts water and 1 part rum.
Why is the rum gone?
That was the standard set by Vice Admiral Edward Vernon, who they called Old Grog on account of the old grogram coat that he used to wear.
Oh, is that why they called it grog in general, though?
See, at this time, sailors, especially in the Caribbean, would get a ½ pint of rum each day for their ration. But Vernon noticed that they were saving that ration up for a few days and then getting plastered. So, to stop that, he watered down the rum and had it doled out twice a day. Now, if you think that rum and water sound just a little boring, don't worry, because the Vice Admiral says that crew members who are good husbandmen may, from the saving of their salt provisions and bread, purchase sugar and limes to make it more palatable to them. And I think I'm a good husbandman, so I'm going to add a little bit of sugar and squeeze in a little bit of lime, and, yeah, swirl it around, bottoms up.
Yeah, I don't know anything about any of this stuff, so that's why I'm having trouble commenting. I apologize in advance.
It's actually really good. Quite refreshing. Yeah, I like that. Also, how cool is this mug? It's perfect.
I wanted to comment on the mug, but I don't even know if that would be adequate enough.
Perfect for grog. I'll put a link in the description below if you want your own pirate mug, because that's what I'm calling it. Anyway, now that we have our grog in hand, make sure to bedight this video with a hit of the like button as we take a gander what them salty sea dogs might have been enjoying for them victuals.
Time for some history. Maybe I can comment on this.
Now, to find out what pirates ate in the 17th and 18th centuries,
they needed fruit.
Gotta kind of look at what the Navy was eating, because a lot of pirates came directly from the Navy.
In the Navy.
Luckily for us, the head of victuals and provisions for the Navy was that prolific diarist, Samuel Pepys.
Did you spell that right?
By the morning, we were come close to the land, and everybody made ready to get on shore. The king and the 2 dukes did eat their breakfast before they went, only to show them the manner of the ship's diet. They eat nothing else but peas and pork and boiled beef. Now that entry was from 1660, and he must have been...
I mean, given the high reproduction rate of pigs, it would make sense that they'd be eating pork.
So appalled at the limited provisions that a few years later, when it was in his power to actually do something about it, he did expand the diet and kind of standardize the rations. For Englishmen, and more especially seamen, love their bellies above everything else. And therefore it must always be remembered in the management of the victualling of the Navy that to make any abatement in the quantity or agreeableness of the victuals is to discourage and provoke them in the
Is that actually how you spell victuals?
tenderest point,
I don't even know what that word means. It's clearly an old word.
and will soon render them disgusted with the king's service than any one other hardship that can be put upon them. So just like me, 17th century sailors would get hangry and up and quit the Navy. That's why I left. I wasn't in the Navy. So a few years later, in 1676,
I really wanted to give some Mr. Krabs quotes because he was also in the Navy, but for some reason I'm drawing a blank on specific ones. The only one that I'm thinking about is where he says that there are 13 bad words because he was a sailor.
7 peeps laid out the daily rations, which included 1 pound of good, clean, sweet, sound, well-bolted with a horsecloth, well-baked and well-conditioned wheaten biscuit, 1 gallon.
You're so happy you could just order a pizza. Would you like me to deliver it for you? You better give me a very good tip.
Of beer, 2 pounds.
This ain't Japan, where they don't have a tipping culture.
Pounds of beef killed and made up with salt in England of a well-fed ox for Sundays, Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays. Now, if you think a gallon of beer sounds a little excessive, it was a small beer, so it basically had all the alcohol of like a half a Zima. Do they even make those anymore?
I don't know. You also got the language of a sailor.
Now, Pepys also laid out some additional foods that crew members could eat on certain days, such as salted English pork, peas, 3 inches of northern sea cod, butter, and cheese. And he promised that no English Navyman should ever be given Irish beef.
Why are we talking about the English when this is Murica Day?
For the Irish meat is very unwholesome.
Oh, isn't that the brother? May I have some oats, cow?
As well as lean and rots our men, which explains why my Irish Nana always ordered her corned beef extra lean. Now, something you'll note missing from this provision is anything to stave off scurvy, which was the scourge of sailing ships. Almost 80 years before, in 1601, a privateer named Sir James Lancaster, and a privateer was basically a pirate who was in cahoots with the government, kind of stumbled upon lemon juice being a way to combat scurvy. He had 4 ships, and the crew of 3 got sick with scurvy, and 1 did not. And it just so happened that that 1 had been drinking 3 spoonfuls of lemon juice each morning.
If that's all it takes.
He reported his findings to the British Navy, who then proceeded to ignore them for 200 years.
Well, it's the British. What did you expect?
It wasn't until 1795 that the Admiralty finally, against the advice of
You always leave a good tip if your veggie pizza has lots of veggies.
many physicians, added lemons
You just like your veggies. Well, at least someone eats their veggies. Damn.
to the daily ration. Crazy. Interestingly enough, those lemons often came from Spain. And a few years later, when Spain got into
And Spain and the UK were not the friendliest. I mean, they weren't that friendly with France either, but you know.
bed with Monsieur Napoleon Bonaparte against England,
This was during the Napoleonic times.
the lemons dried up, so the English started getting limes from the West Indies and became known as limeys.
Limeys?
Now, with such a limited diet for the majority of the crew, the ship's cook really had to get creative.
Imagine being British and ignoring the cure for scurvy for 200 years. I mean, yeah, when a British person sees how the British are portrayed in Indian textbooks, are we the baddies?
If not with the ingredients, then with the names of the dishes. There was dog's body, which was a sort of peas pudding, and burgoo or loblolly, which was
Those are some of the most British-sounding names I've ever seen.
essentially oatmeal with either molasses or pig fat in it. And there's actually a really good video, again, from Townsend's on making that, so I'll put a link in the description to that as well. Skillygallee was just ground
Oh my god, the British names just keep coming.
up hardtack with pork fat and water, and then lobscouse was basically a meat stew thickened with ground up hardtack.
You would think that they would be made with lobster.
Then there was my favorite, dandy funk, which was, again, just ground up hardtack with fat and molasses. They do sound pretty hearty, if not particularly interesting. Though there is one interestingly named dish that actually does sound pretty good, and that is salmagundi, which was
Why does that sound familiar?
like an early Cobb salad. It had fresh
Is it not salmon-based?
meats and greens and a little bit of a dressing, hard-boiled eggs, sometimes some onions. But that was going to be reserved for the captain and his mates, and it's said that salmagundi was actually what the infamous pirate captain Black Bart Roberts ate the morning that he went to Davy Jones's locker. Now, despite these bland foods being what most of the crew ate most of the time, especially on long voyages...
And there's a video where he makes lobscouse.
When they did get to...
I wanted to say it as lobscouse, but...
you know, different ports of call around the world, the food got more adventurous. And to learn more about that, we again go to a great pirate. William Dampier was originally captain of HMS Roebuck for the British Navy, but then in 1702 he was court-martialed for being cruel to his own crew, and...
I know that Dale Gribble tried to point out that the courthouse that he was in hung a flag with golden edges, which signals an admiralty court, and an admiralty court signals a court-martial, and Dale cannot be court-martialed twice, that is all.
Expelled from the Navy, so he became a pirate. But again, one of those privateers who, you know, was kind of okay with the British Navy because he would only attack the Spanish. But it was his writings that made him famous, because he cataloged everything that he did on his...
We're looking at a video about hardtack
journeys, especially the foods that he came across. In the Bay of Panama, he ate a fruit called avocado pear. The inside is green or a little yellowish and as soft as butter. It is usually mixed with sugar and lime juice and beaten together in a plate. And there you have the first English language recipe for guacamole.
Sweet.
Also, the first English language use of the word avocado. In fact, the dictionary credits him with a lot of firsts, including chopsticks and barbecue and cashew and kumquat. And supposedly he came up with the term breadfruit.
British people are weird.
Some of his other interesting writings find his captain feeding sometimes on land turtle.
Lots of funny... And their navy ignoring scurvy scary. You brought that up twice. Yes.
Sometimes on...
Feeding sometimes on land turtles, sometimes on sea turtle.
Sea turtle. Captain Davis found such plenty of land turtle that he and his men ate nothing else for 3 months.
Land turtle, I'm pretty sure the technical term is tortoise.
And he mentions that flamingos' tongues are large, having a large knob of fat at the root, which is an excellent bit. A dish of flamingo's tongues is fit for a prince's table. Which is cool because the ancient Roman food writer Apicius basically writes the same thing, so checks out. Also, Dampier talks about taking aboard foods that would last long times on voyages, like coconuts, rice, yams, and potatoes, which are good store to eat at sea. But not everything he was eating agrees with me, like penguin meat or...
Penguin meat. I know Sokka from Avatar knows what rotten penguin meat tastes like.
Or the extraordinarily sweet, wholesome meat of manatee. Don't you dare, Mr. Dampier. They are my favorite animal, and I would sooner turn to cannibalism than eat a manatee. And turning to cannibalism seems to have been on the table as well.
I see.
There are actually lots of stories.
You're very tired, Pinnacle.
Of pirates
and here's time for you to relax.
Mutineers resorting to cannibalism. And even though the writing is full of levity, I am guessing that Dampier was a little worried when his trip to Guam was taking longer than expected. It was well for Captain Swan that we got sight of it before our provision was spent, of which we had but enough for 3 days more. For as I was afterwards informed, the men had contrived first to kill Captain Swan and eat him when the victuals was gone, and after him, me. This made Captain Swan say to me after our arrival at Guam, "Ah, Dampier, you would have made them but a poor meal." For I was as lean as the captain was lusty and fleshy.
The hell does that even mean?
I sure hope nobody ever refers to me as lusty and fleshy.
Nuh-uh, I'm pretty sure there will be plenty of people that refer to me as lusty, at least.
It's not a compliment. Dampier also...
I'm sure some people would find that a compliment.
...talks about a lot of excessive drinking, which pirates and sailors alike were notorious for, which is the reason that there are songs like, "What do you do with a drunken sailor? What do you do with a drunken sailor?" It is
lie in the morning.
Year of the sea shanty, according to TikTok, though probably by the time this video airs...
Who the hell said that it was the year? What year was this video uploaded in? 2021? Since when the hell was 2021 the year of the sea shanty? And why is TikTok deciding it?
That will be gone because teenagers are fickle. In Treasure Island, Robert Louis Stevenson wrote, "Double grog was going on the least excuse, and the sailor Edward Barlow was dissuaded from going to sea by his family, knowing how many ill husbands and drunken fellows used to go to sea, and that it was a place where many ill vices were in practice. But he went anyway, and quickly learned why that beer and rum ration were so looked forward to in comparison with whatever else was on the menu. A piece of hard biscuit cake, or a piece of old salt beef or pork, and maybe both stinking and rotten, having lain in a pickle 1 year or two, and nothing to drink but a little fresh water, many times both stinking and dirty.
All of the above.
So can you really blame a pirate when in the pirate haven of Port Royal, Jamaica, they used to buy a pipe of wine and place it in the street and oblige everyone that passed to drink? A pipe of wine being 126 gallons. So I don't feel that bad about needing another cup of grog with my ship's biscuit. So after a couple hours, your ship's biscuit or hardtack is probably ready to go, but if you want to dry it out some more, you can just leave it out for a few hours or days or weeks or months, because it lasts forever. But for today, here are our ship's biscuits and grog. And you
they look pretty good.
Can tell they're done because...
I see.
I mean...
Oh, there it goes. Up. You didn't dry it enough if it's gonna chip like that. You need to be able to break your teeth.
That's crazy. It did break off a little bit, which is good, because I think that's the only way I'm going to be able to eat these. I worry for my teeth. Let's give it a shot. Yeah.
Wait, what meme?
That is crispy. Crispy and flavorless.
A
little flavor. It's just not very good. They did used to...
You could dunk it some olive oil or something.
Break them up and like put them into stews and stuff, like I said, or just dip them into their grog or water or wine.
Yeah.
Just to soften them. I mean, wow, that is like...
Hopefully that doesn't tear your throat. Yeah, take a sip of that.
That'll get stuck in your throat.
Okay, I figured. You know, Morty, that when you try to swallow a pill and it's still kind of there, that's what having your dragon hung up by feels like.
I can see why Polly want a cracker and not a ship's biscuit. Smart parrot.
Eh.
So if you're on Discord, make sure to join.
You have to wake up early since you're going to a Japanese restaurant. Ever been there since the day after your sober grad party?
Join the Tasting History Discord, where we talk food and history and Pokemon and whatever else we want to talk about. And for your free trial of the Great Courses Plus, make sure to follow the link in the description. And I will see you next time on Tasting History.
All right, very nice. Poisoned Roman beef, the last mirror of the evil Emperor Commodus. Okay, I'm gonna be right back. The heck happened? Why is it like that? Am I gonna have to reset VTube Studio? I don't really know what's next. I mean, we could still look at the Geography Now video, but if everyone wants to look at, if everyone wants to watch the Geography Now USA video, you feel free to let me know. Because I didn't really have anything per se that was lined up. I mean, there's this... Yeah, I'm sure you did. But there was also this random video about Where do we draw the line between scripts, comparing Latin script to Greek script, among other? But that doesn't really have anything to do with anything. And then there's this other Geography Now video about the Faroe Islands, which I think are officially a part of Denmark, if I recall correctly, for the same reason that Greenland is. What do we have here? But for some reason, I always have something to watch for the Wednesday stream, but whenever it comes to the Saturday stream, I can never seem to find much of anything. And then we can look through all of this. Animal Planet's most insane show. I don't know what that would be. And apparently, the new season of the live-action Avatar series was apparently very bad. The odd Biscoon Tail cameo, yeah. Angry Cat Holes, Super Pissed Off Cats compilation. We could also look at the funniest Huskies. Why is it capitalized? Why did I have the caps lock on? Super Pissed Off Cats compilation. At least it's only 4 minutes long. We can look at this while we come to a consensus on whether or not we want to look at the Geography Now video. Otherwise, I'll just look at it anyway. Here, a bunch of Neckos getting very angry. We love Denmark.
Hi, kitty. Hi, kitty.
Yeah, the hardtack video is a bit but later references the clack clack so often as an audiovisual clack. I was about to say audiovisual glag because I... You know what, never mind.
Hey.
I can't speak.
No, you can't have it.
I can have it. Can I have it?
No.
Yes.
What are you doing?
What friendly creatures.
Hey! You tiny kitten. No. How did you do this even?
Is it stuck on its teeth?
Now?
Oh. I was like, what the hell was that cat trying to carry? I thought it was a package, but apparently it was a pack of meat. That engine needs checking out. I don't ever recall any of our family cats acting like this towards each other. They would swipe at each other and hiss, but that's about it. I've never heard them growl like that at each other. Okay.
No, 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 no! Get no, 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 no.
Look at that flat face. Clearly doesn't give a damn.
No,
Nice guitar riff. Is that gonna get me copy claim? That's the noise of friendship. The kitty wants to sleep on the bed.
Come on. Get off.
No, I don't think that's very fair. No, 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 no. First of all, why would you leave your eggs on the table like that?
Are you gonna let
I don't think I've ever seen any of our cats do that, like, ever.
her eat your food? Are you kidding me? She's eating your food. Get your food. Don't be afraid of her. Beethoven. Don't be afraid of her. Get your food. You eat your food. Come on, go eat. Don't be afraid of her. She's too little. Get your food. Well, that's not gonna work.
Wow.
You gotta do more than bark.
Cat needs attention.
Huh.
Cat's just sitting there like a loaf. Is a dog trying to get in or something? Your cat's intrusive thoughts sometimes wins out, and she does that. And this one's just sitting there. It's not doing anything. Excuse me. Oh my god. No, there are moments where I feel like that I'm about to hiccup, but then I stop myself from doing so. Harry Potter kittens. And unlikely friends. Those don't seem to be clickable. How does he look today? Find DDX at t equals 2.
Number 59 out of 1000.
Looking for the let's see if I could do this in my head. That's 1. That's 3t to the second power times dx dt minus 2 dt plus 0. And then that's dy dx. You know what? Let's just look at it.
Here we have these parametric equations, and we are going to find dy dx at t is equal to 2. So remember, when we have parametric equations, dy dx is just equal to dy dt and then over dx dt.
Oh god.
So for
I was
dy
drinking
dt,
something and I drank too much at all at once.
We just
now my throat hurts.
Look at this and differentiate that with respect to t, so we just get 6.
Oh god.
And then dx dt, look at this, differentiate, we get 3t squared.
Oh, so I was doing it wrong.
2. Then we just have to plug in t is equal to 2, so I can write something like this. That means we plug in t is 2 into here.
Oh, I could do that in 3 times 2 squared, 3 times 4, that's 12, minus 2 is 10, 6 over 10. Divide that by 2, that's 3 over 5.
So we will get 6 over 3 times 2 squared minus 2. That is 6 over, that's 10. So reduce all that stuff, you get 5. No, you get 3 over 5.
Yes. Okay, that's that. You know what? let's just go ahead and get watching with this now, because I kept... I don't know if I'm just too tired right now, or if I'm just making excuses. Okay, now my mind has gone blank. You know what? I said that we were going to look at this. We're going to look at this. It's Geography Now's US video. We should have looked at this we should have looked at this, started looking at this at least 30 minutes ago. But I decided to wait until now because I wanted to make sure that everyone got their requests in. But we're going to do this just for tonight because I feel like it and because of the theme of the stream. So if you made it this far, if you're watching the VOD or if you're actually here live, put your ones in the chat. But either way, let's go. It's been a while since I've seen this. Apparently this video is like 3 years old, but we're gonna watch it anyway. Take a look at all of the varied landscapes. Surfers. It's gonna be a good one. In an abandoned mall. We gotta get the America tank top. I'm surprised that you would even know the Star Spangled Banner.
Home.
It's time to learn Geography Now!
Everybody, I'm your host, Barbs. By the way, you can get Geography Now merch like this Geography Now shirt at
Anyway, because it's not selling out if it's your brand.
GeographyNow.com. Not selling out if it's your brand. So we did the UAE, the UK, and now...
Yes, the two of the United whatevers, the United Arab Emirates and the United Kingdom. Technically, the official name of Mexico is the United Mexican States, but for some reason, we don't talk about that.
The last of the United Triplet countries. After doing this channel for nearly a decade of my life, it's finally time. We have made it to my...
Oh, I remember when this... I'd kept up with Geography Now since the very beginning, and it was a wild ride.
My home country. Let's make this a big one. Here we go. Welcome to the United States of America. The USA is a very complex place when it comes to the way that it's structured and the way that the...
Yes, we have, obviously we have the mainland US, Alaska, and then all of the islands that we have
domain
as well.
Administers itself. It's almost like 50 mini countries and 5 territories with their own unique identities, yet they all speak the same language and have some common understanding of American life. Everything is bigger, wider, spread out. We love shopping and having everything conveniently available now.
Yes, it's the American spirit.
That's why we invented things like fast food, the parking lot, the modern shopping mall, highway service plazas.
Although these days, those same malls tend to be out of use.
Drive-thrus, the barcode pricing system, credit cards, escalators, and public restrooms are everywhere, and they're free.
Yes, we know the design is very awkward and prison-like, but free!
Free.
Because apparently restrooms cost money in some other parts of the world. We're sometimes also the Mexican Republic.
In any case, apart from that little civil structure overview, let's look at the map and discuss the actual location and
yes, Alaska is the coldest part.
Sovereignty of the USA, shall we?
First of all, the USA is located on the North American continent, with the main chunk of the country known as the Lower 48, where 98% of the population lives, is sandwiched between the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans to the east and west, and Canada and Mexico border them on the north and south. The country consists of 50 states divided into 3,143 counties, or
3,000, let's go.
County equivalents, 3,243 if you include territory divisions. 3 states have weird detached exclaves on the Canadian border. They are the...
Yes, I know about this. Yes, Alaska is the one place where you can't be too fat or too drunk.
Northwest Angle and Elm Point for Minnesota, Point Roberts,
yes, these exclaves,
Washington, and Alberg, Vermont. The only state distinctly divided into two continental land-based units is Michigan, with the upper and lower peninsulas. The capital,
the lower peninsula, is more developed.
The country is Washington, D.C., which is a federal district
it's not a state.
belonging to any state and is under direct control of Congress, despite having a higher population than some states. In addition,
and because it's not a state, there are certain rights that it doesn't have that all the other states do.
the USA has 5 major unincorporated territories. They are Puerto Rico, the U.S. Virgin Islands, American Samoa, Guam, and the Northern Mariana Islands. In addition, there are 9 minor outlying islands, all of which are also unincorporated, except for Palmyra Atoll for some reason, even though all these islands have no permanent population.
Yeah, this one is incorporated.
The U.S. has a disputed claim over 2 small sandbank islands in the Caribbean as well, both administered by Colombia. They are the Serenia Bank and the Bajo Nuevo Bank as well. That being said, this means if you include all the territories and dependency, the USA has a total of 11 time zones, although only 9 of them are used by people. 2 strange time zone anomalies exist, the first one being the Little and Big Diomede Islands between Alaska.
Oh, yes. These 2 islands are a day apart because that's where the international date line is.
And Russia, and American Samoa and Samoa.
Oh, and then this one, yeah. When Samoa was being granted independence, for whatever reason, the Eastern Islands decided that they wanted to remain as part of the U.S. as a territory. I don't remember the reason, but, you know.
Diomedes are less than 3 miles away and are visible to each other, yet they straddle the international date line and are hence an entire day apart from each other. In addition, there are 325 Native American reservations spread throughout the lower 48.
Yeah, the Native American reservations generally have they're basically countries in their own right. They have a very high degree of autonomy.
These areas, although under U.S. federal territory, have a degree of autonomy for the native tribes that administer them. The largest cities in the USA population-wise are New York, Los Angeles, and Chicago. The busiest airports, however, are Atlanta, Hartsfield-Jackson, Dallas, Fort Worth, and Denver International. The U.S. has an incredibly wide network of roads and highways connecting all states except Hawaii, obviously. The longest one being U.S. Route 20. Although the U.S. does have a relatively wide rail network for freight trains, passenger train lines have decreased over the years in favor of road transport, and today the only long-distance intercity network is operated by Amtrak. Our largest shipping port is the Port of Los Angeles in conjunction with the Port of Long Beach, which are 2 separate entities yet physically joined.
Compton, Long Beach, and Inglewood. We gotta represent.
Finally, one last thing. Although the USA has no claim over Antarctica,
we do have a station there.
We do have the largest
McMurdo Ice Station. I remember having a little globe with McMurdo Ice Station being labeled as part of U.S.
Antarctic Station at McMurdo, which can facilitate up to 1,000 people. And we also have the only station located on the geographic South Pole at Amundsen Scott Station. And in case,
I see.
If you were wondering, it follows the +12 UTC time zone.
Fun fact, did you know that in Hawaii it's actually illegal to laugh loudly? So you kind of have to keep it at aloha.
Yes, and then ready, there we go. This is what happens when you make puns on Geography Now. I think, here, I need to reset VTube Studio. It's bugging out. So give me one moment. Gotta fix that. Much better.
Few side notes. 1, I made a video explaining the Native
Yeah, he did make that video too.
American reservations and statistical areas, as well as territories of the USA. I figured they deserve their own videos because it's a big topic. Check them out. 2, each state and territory has their own flag, license plate design.
Yeah, the state flags don't follow any of the pre-established rules of vexillology.
And nickname, for
such as not having words within them. A flag like this is a big no-no for vexillologers.
Example, the state I was born in, Minnesota, is the land of 10,000 lakes. Indiana, I still have no idea what a Hoosier is, but...
Hoosier. No, you know what? Let's look it up. What is a Hoosier? There's a film. Oh, it's the official demonym or resident of the U.S. state of Indiana. The term dates back to the 1830s. Its exact origin remains an enduring mystery, with theories ranging from a frontier dialect like Hoosier. So it's apparently just a demonym. An old Cold War era bunker in Greenland.
You do you. Cities have nicknames too, like Chicago is Chi-Town or the Windy City.
I've noticed this when we went there for a marching band trip. The wind was pretty cold.
New York, the Big Apple. Orlando.
I don't know why they call it the Big Apple.
No, the Big Orange.
I forgot that they called it that.
Seattle is the Emerald City, and so on. 3, yes.
Oh, you're Indianian.
That's the USA.
Oh, so we have a Hoosier in the chat.
Is a car country. It's part of...
of our culture. See, the majority of our country was built post-industrial revolution, so many of our cities have easily navigable straight grid-like road networks with accommodating wider roads as opposed to the spider web of narrow medieval cobblestone alleys built for pedestrians. In the U.S., you can get your own license at age 16. For many of us, it's a rite of passage and bragging right in high
Many of it. Well, unfortunately, I didn't get my license until like my early 20s.
school to show off your car, even if you're just borrowing mom's minivan. 4, we also kind of have an awkward situation with Guantanamo Bay.
Oh yes, Guantanamo
which
Bay.
is located in Cuba. It's kind of like this. I am the first president of Cuba. Now that we are in...
No, true Chicagolanders call it the city. Oh, so you mean like how the name Istanbul literally means this city? Nobody referred to it as Constantinople, they just referred to it as this city. Because how Constantinople got the works is no one's business but the Turks. So you guys just call it the city.
Independent from the U.S., I will offer you a perpetual lease to Guantanamo Bay.
Awesome. We'll pay you guys every year.
We are the new Cuba. We don't want you. Get out.
Hey, your old president agreed a perpetual lease to us until both countries agree or we abandon the property. We don't want to do that.
This happens a lot in diplomacy where it's always the previous people in charge that you made those deals with. You didn't make those deals with me, bitch.
We're gonna stay here.
Well, yeah, revolution. We don't recognize that treaty.
Well, we do. Here's your lease check for the year. Thanks for doing business. I'll shake my...
To this day, Cuba refuses to cash these checks. You know, I'm pretty sure cashing in those checks would be beneficial to their people.
Myself, we'll see you next year, okay? Okay.
Oh yeah, that's the other thing. At one point, the USA took administrative control over Cuba after the Spanish-American War, in addition to Guam.
Yeah, we had control over the Philippines as well. Oh, we got it from horse racing. I'm guessing it's because they is it because they fed their horses apples or something?
Puerto Rico and the Philippines.
Or am I misreading that?
Philippines, of course, the Philippines and Cuba gained their own independence. And the U.S. also used to control the Panama Canal Zone for about 70 years. It was like...
Yeah, this one.
Like, all right, Panama, you're getting your independence from us.
Woo! Me gusta!
But I agreed to let the Americans have sovereignty over the Canal Zone because, you know, they're kind of building it.
What the? I mean, you want us to leave and take all of our money and you finish building it, or... For now, no, but let's talk in 70 years. Okay, then.
Apparently, the Panama Canal hasn't been doing very good in recent years just due to a number of environmental circumstances.
Yeah. In addition, after World War II, we took administrative control over many of the islands in the Pacific that Japan used.
Yeah, a lot of these islands are in... They're all... A lot of these are, like, I think all 3 of these are independent, like, independent countries of their own right, but they're all in what's known as free association with the U.S. in the sense that we're the ones that provide for, like, protection and economic reasons as well.
To control. The 3 Micronesian island groups of Palau, the Marshall Islands, and the Federated States of Micronesia were labeled as U.S. trust territories until they gained independence in 1986. Today, they are the only countries that have the Compact of Free Association status, meaning the U.S. provides defense, financial assistance, and social services to the countries, whereas the citizens are allowed to move, live, and work in the U.S. and easily obtain citizenship if they desire, and in return, they allow the U.S. to have military bases. In any case, every section of the United States has a unique story on how it eventually became part of the country. It basically goes like this.
For example, the USA started as 13 British colonies that pretty much operated everything east of the Mississippi River.
And that's what the 13 stripes on the flag are for.
At one point, everything up to what is now Minnesota was just called Virginia.
Oh yeah, I think I remember. And then this was called the Northwest. They were trying to they referred to these as the Northwest Territories because they were in the northwest of what was originally... I mean, they had the British had acquired this territory after the 7 Years' War, and you know, and they referred to these as the Northwest Territories. And they were trying to find something called the Northwest Passage when they were expanding westward, which had to deal with the Mississippi in some way, but I'm drawing a blur on the exact history.
1803, we obtained the Louisiana Purchase from France, which
we had this as
didn't
well.
Even have a properly defined western border. It just kind of arbitrarily ended at the Rockies. This doubled the size of the country, and a bunch of
we got this from Napoleon because Napoleon had way too much on his hands at the time.
Acadian French-speaking criminals from Canada suddenly became American. In 1819, we expanded to the Pacific.
You're a radio broadcast engineer.
Pacific for the first time and had a shared condominium with the British in Oregon Territory.
Yeah, that was shared.
Years later, Florida was ceded to us from Spain in a treaty in which we said that we would cede any claims to Texas. Well,
and then we took Texas anyway because I'm from Texas. And back home, I wrangled bulls and I wrangled worms.
Story incredibly short, the Texans in Texas kind of fought Mexico and became their own country for 10 years, and then decided to cede their country back to the USA. In 1848, the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo ended the Mexican-American War, and the Alta California area was ceded to the USA. And after some quick borderline readjustments and new states popping up, the continuous USA was complete. The Guano Islands Act started in the 1850s, got us to claim a bunch of random small islands in the Pacific and the Caribbean. Civil War split us up for about 10 years, but then we reunited. Meanwhile, Alaska was purchased by Russia.
It was purchased from Russia.
1898, Hawaii was annexed from the Kingdom of Hawaii. 1 year later, after the Spanish-American War, a bunch of new islands joined, but only Puerto Rico and Guam would stay as territories. 1 year later, Samoa was taken over under the Tripartite Convention. Later, only what is now American Samoa would vote to remain. And finally, in 1917, we bought the Virgin Islands from Denmark.
Yeah, almost every American has played the Oregon Trail.
The Oregon Trail.
In school and has.
You have died of dysentery.
Died of dysentery?
I don't think I've ever played that game before.
Just want to give a huge thanks to Bright Trip for making that animation. You guys are awesome. Check out their website. They got some cool stuff. Hey, we tried to buy Greenland like 3 times and they kept saying no, but like, come on.
We're still trying to buy Greenland.
Come on. On that note, you can kind of tell the story behind places in the USA based off the language the name comes from. For example, many places.
Yeah, a lot of states in the U.S. have Native American derived names.
In the middle of the USA that used to be part of the Louisiana Purchase have French names like Lafayette.
Yeah, and these are cities specifically.
Des Moines or Des Moines. Hell, the entire
Des Moines, Louisiana is named after Louis.
The entirety of Louisiana was named after King Louis the 16th, 14th? What?
14th.
We're not French anymore. Places that used to belong to Spain and later Mexico have Spanish names like Puerto Rico, San Diego, and yes, even the city I live in, Los Angeles, Los Angeles.
The City of Angels, which is a bit of a misnomer.
Otherwise, many cities and half of all the states are named after Native American words and or anglicized versions of Native American words. Kentucky, Ohio, Oklahoma. The city of Chicago means wild onion.
Wild onion. Can you concur this, Glock? You live in the city named after wild onions.
In the Miami, Illinois tribe language. In any case, basically, our country was born out of revolution. Long story short, we were a colony of Great Britain, not the UK yet, but Great Britain, for about 170 years.
It didn't become Great Britain until after. The only reason that they call themselves Great Britain was because France had their own region called Brittany, which wanting to call themselves Britain, France thought that there was a claim to their own territory, so they decided to distinguish themselves by calling their island Great Britain in order to distinguish it from Little Britain or Brittany in France.
Until King George III came in and went crazy, or at least that's how we see it. You know, the Brits.
That's how we saw it.
More like, you ungrateful colonials. We declared independence.
Cleveland is called the Mistake by the Lake. Yes, I'm aware of that.
In 1776, which, by the way, thank you, Morocco, for bringing.
Oh, did Morocco recognize us first?
The first country in the world to recognize us as a nation in 1777. Hey, I beat them to it in 1776.
Saint Eustatius.
Hey, you don't get to speak for me as a nation as a whole. You will recognize them when I say so. Okay, now you can recognize them.
However, the fighting went on
okay.
for 7 more years until the Treaty of Paris was signed, in which Britain officially recognized us as a nation. Meanwhile, Canada just up north was like, now I'm Daddy's favorite.
Okay, and then they decided, no, we don't want to be with Daddy
and like
anymore.
80 years later, it was like,
oh, I'm still Dad's favorite.
Yep.
In any case, with the exception...
America's hat be like Swiss Canton system or India's Mahajanapada.
Of a few other political entities.
There's a town in New York called Malone.
Up until
I wouldn't know.
Then, most of the world had been ruled either by monarchs or some kind of singular figurehead with huge authority that all administration pointed towards.
Sometimes they tend to have these onion hats. St. Louis is the gateway.
The U.S. founding fathers developed
a system of Louis. St. Louis. I know a thing or two about St. Louis, man.
Elements of English common.
I don't know anything about St. Louis. I don't know what I was being, but I'll stand by it.
Law, Enlightenment philosophy, classic republicanism from ancient Greece and Rome, federalism, and separation of powers. Basically, because we were so traumatized by the monarchical rule, we wanted to make a country ruled by a system that would make it really hard for the government to have too much power.
Right.
In addition, we decided to become a federation, as in states share a singular sovereignty and must abide by the same federal constitution and the rights that it gives, like freedom of speech and press. But
as opposed to the unitary state where all the power is consolidated in the central government. Great Britain, or the UK, is a unitary state.
But aside from that, they have the right to operate autonomously based on whatever regional values that each state holds and votes on. This is why sometimes people have to cross state lines to do things that might otherwise be illegal in the states they live in.
I've mentioned this more than once, but the primary example of the states' rights in action is weed, basically.
Important to note, not everything was perfect in the beginning legislatively. Of course, we still had a long way to go and many things to fix. For example, slavery was still practiced and it did have legal provisions. Women were not able to vote and so on.
Who were popular.
For what it's worth, the USA was the first nation state founded on enlightened principles of unalienable natural rights, consent of the governed, and liberal democracy. So yeah. America!
Fuck yeah!
In any case, history is boring. Let's look at some pretty pictures and whatnot.
Let's look.
Let's discuss the famous places of the United States, and I will do it. Now, we all know about the most publicized landmarks like the Statue of
Yeah, we all know these.
Liberty, Las Vegas, the Empire State Building, Times Square, the Golden Gate Bridge, Mount Rushmore, Grand Canyon, Lincoln Memorial, Niagara Falls, the Hollywood Sign, Gateway Arch, and Disney World, the largest amusement park in the world. We have 130
We need more stuff than that. No, it's not enough to have those things. We need the things that are off the beaten trail.
national monuments and 24 UNESCO heritage sites. Yeah, we get it. But let's talk about some of the more underrated places that are just as equally as fascinating as their over-publicized counterparts. Instead of New York, try Chicago.
Chicago! If anyone's ever seen that episode of Victorious.
Instead of the Statue of Liberty, maybe check out the birth of the New World.
The birth of the New World. Second tallest statue, it's in Puerto Rico.
Or the Dignity statue in South Dakota. Instead of Mount Rushmore, try the Crazy Horse Monument. Instead of the Grand Canyon, try Arches National Park, Vermilion Cliffs, Devil's Tower, and my favorite.
Here we are, kids, the Grand Canyon. It's so old and boring. I want a new one now. And they wanted to turn Springfield into the new Grand Canyon.
Favorite spot in Monument Valley. Instead of Disney World, try Six Flags Magic Mountain. Instead of the Golden Gate Bridge, try the Chesapeake Bay or Sunshine Skyway or the Mackinac Bridges or the Lake Pontchartrain Causeway in Louisiana, the longest continuous bridge in the world. For history, yes, we have history. I'm talking about ancient pre-colonial. Go to the Cahokia Mounds, Poverty Point Earthworks, Hoven Weep, Tonto, Chimney Rock, Navajo.
I remember we did little Native American burial mound projects in, what was it, 4th grade? It was either 3rd grade or 4th grade. We made little clay models of ancient native burial grounds. I remember making a serpent mound.
National Monument, or the Pueblos of Mesa Verde, Taos, or the Chaco Culture National Historical Park, Aztec Ruins, Petroglyph National Monument, Montezuma Castle, so many.
Yeah, we've got a lot of those types of things as well. I know that the Mississippi River had a decently sized community, Native American community going for it, but then some environmental things happened that caused it to kind of fall apart. But if that never happened, then it could have been the new Mesopotamia.
Many things. We have the tallest trees and the tallest tree in the world, the Sailing Stones of Death Valley.
Oh, I know about this. Yes, this is the hottest place on Earth.
In Hawaii, you can literally see active lava spewing rocks, or the world's largest protected marine area at Papahanaumokuakea. Also, they have the Polynesian Culture Center, and one of our best kept secrets, White Sands National Park, that looks like you're walking on the moon. Go to the underrated states like West Virginia. They have River Gorge.
West Virginia, Mountain Mama, take me home, country road.
North Dakota has the strange enchanted highway. The New England states have the best autumn trees. Oregon has the ghost forest.
No, the autumn trees in New England. Family Guy had an episode where they made fun of that stuff.
Wisconsin has so many weird, whimsical attractions. My favorite one being the House on the Rock. Idaho, Montana, Eastern California, Nevada, and Alaska have some of the best preserved Western-style ghost towns. Freaking Alaska! Ice caves, fjords, tundras, probably some of the best nature in the entire country. American Samoa and Guam and the Marianas are a wonderful place to see Micronesian and Polynesian culture displays. The Virgin Islands are like the wedding honeymoon capital of our country.
Well, of course, it's the Virgin Islands. But then again, there is that one Virgin Island that had a lot of suspicious behavior going on there. I'm sure you know which one that is.
Ah, there's so much, and that's not even the beginning. This is one of the reasons why like only 56% of Americans own passports, because we kind of have a lot to see in our own backyard.
Yeah, we have too. We've got a lot. And the Rugrats had an episode about that very concept. Why go to Europe when you can just see when there's a whole world to explore right in your own backyard?
And it's no wonder considering that our backyard is one of the most biodiverse in the world. Let's discuss more of that in.
Let's
now,
go.
to summarize, every conceivable landscape you can think of, we
have it all.
Yeah, the USA is regarded as one of the most geographically diverse nations on Earth, and with that landscape spectrum, you can find an infinite amount of natural wonders. But first, let's look at the map.
So first, let's start with the lower 48. Generally speaking, there are 7 main physical regions. The coastal plains extending from the North Atlantic states to the Gulf of Mexico, split off by the Appalachian Mountains. From there, you have the Central Plains and the Great Lakes region east of the Mississippi River, Lake Superior being the largest lake and the largest freshwater lake by surface area in the world, 3rd largest by volume. However, only about 45% of it belongs belongs to the U.S., meaning the largest lake completely within the U.S. boundaries and largest lake by area in the world fully within a single country would
Lake Michigan.
actually be Lake Michigan. Altogether, these 5 lakes make up about 1/5 of
And these lakes were made by glaciers that existed during the last ice age.
the world's above-surface freshwater. West of the Mississippi, you have the Great Plains, the flattest part of the country, and home to Tornado Alley, where the strongest and most tornadoes form than anywhere else on Earth.
Yeah.
From there, you reach the Rocky Mountains, the U.S.'s longest chain and 3rd longest in the world after the Andes and the Great Escarpment in South Africa. The Rockies are also the source of the longest river in the United States, not the famous Mississippi,
not quite the Mississippi,
which begins in Minnesota, but by 1 mile extra, the Missouri River actually beats them at 3,341 miles.
Tom Sawyer ain't going back to Missouri in the Fairly Odd Parents episode that he was featured in.
Past the Rockies is the Great Basin, which holds the U.S.'s desert ecoregions, 8 cold deserts with alpine flora, and 3 dry, hot shrubland, rocky, sandy deserts. Fun fact, the Sonoran Desert, shared with Mexico, is the only place in the world where you can find the famous saguaro cacti. You've probably seen them in movies and TV shows.
Yes, this is the classical cacti.
They grow here naturally. From there, the other side of the Great Basin is bordered by the coastal ranges, aka the Cascades and the Sierra Nevada. Keep in mind,
Mount Whitney.
This range also sits on the San Andreas Transform Fault Line.
Yeah, this is why there's so many mountains there to begin with.
Which is part of the larger Ring of Fire. That means this area is the most earthquake-prone region in the country.
We're still waiting for the big one.
Lots of geothermal activity, such as the eruption of Mount St. Helens in the 80s. From there, the state of Alaska up north actually has the highest peak, Denali, as well as all of the top 10 highest peaks in the country as well. Otherwise, unlike the islands formed by the Ring of Fire, the Hawaiian Islands were not formed by a fault line or rift system, but rather by their own
there's a hot spot underneath Hawaii.
Unusual isolated hotspot where magma spurred out on its own through plumes in the middle of the ocean.
Yes, and as the plate tectonic moves in whatever direction that it's moving in, new islands start forming from it.
This is also known as the Emperor Hawaiian Seamount Chain, and technically, if you consider height from the base of the mountain to the peak, Mauna Kea on Hawaii's Big Island could be seen as the tallest mountain in the world, as over 25,000 feet or 75% of its total elevation goes underwater to the seafloor.
Yeah, what the Midwest lacks in landscape, they make up for it in skyscape.
Oh yeah, look at all this. The mothership has arrived.
The craziest atmospheric conditions in the Great Plains. People from all over the world come to our country just to see tornadoes. It's a thing, tornado tourism. Oh, and fun fact.
Is that so?
Many homes, schools, and businesses in the Midwest and Great Plains have tornado shelters and cellars. And in schools, the kids,
otherwise known as the Frady hole,
also practice tornado drills. I had to do that as a kid. And
no, we did that all the time as a kid, practicing tornado drills.
In that regard, some students in the West Coast have to do like earthquake drills. We know how to handle natural disasters here. We're pretty good.
Yeah,
in the USA, life is like a constant economic game of opportunistic chess moves mixed with skill and luck. We know our potential and we want more. That's why we never stop moving. We hate mediocre, mundane complacency. You could win it all, or you could mess up and lose it all. But the point.
That's the thing. We're Americans. We don't quit just because we're wrong. We just keep doing the wrong thing until it turns out right.
The point is, you could. We go crazy over that word. Not every country in the world offers a could to their people. We aren't really afraid of failure or embarrassment. That stuff passes away easily. Hell, we even capitalize and make money off of our embarrassment. Have you seen our reality show?
Yes, and oh my god, and yes. The lady that had her heart replaced with a pig heart because her heart is sweeter than bacon.
But the one thing we are terrified of is regret. And that's the core of the American spirit. An American doesn't wonder, we dream. Whether it's plausible or deluded and foolish, we dream. Anyway, that was kind of a ramble. Not going to get too far into it. In any case, it's time for my triple shot espresso break. Let's bring Noah in to fill in for the rest of the segment, shall we?
The fire may be gone, but the heat still lingers. Straight from the Great Plains.
Okay, and this is the natural stuff.
The state of Iowa. It is I, Noah. So let's get into some statistics first, shall we? It is already well known that today the USA has the largest economy by nominal GDP out of any nation, and the second largest purchasing power parity after China.
After China, but we'll get there. Oh no, the communists ain't gonna be able to take us down.
Dollar is the most widely used currency in international transactions and is the world's reserve currency, used by many other countries as an official and de facto currency. We are the world's largest importer and second largest exporter after China. Out of the world's 500 largest companies, over 120 are headquartered in the USA. We alone have about 40% of the world's billionaires and 30% of the world's millionaires. NASDAQ and New York Stock Exchange are the largest stock exchanges in the world by market capitalization.
Yeah, all that stuff is a big deal.
And trade volume. Some of our most profitable exports include petroleum products, electronics, machinery, aerospace, and defense equipment, and civilian passenger vehicles, and medical and scientific equipment. We have the top most profitable companies and the largest commercial brands on earth that are world-renowned, such as Apple, Google, Amazon, Microsoft, and Tesla. We even invent...
Now, who was... I remember the Yahoo CEO mentioning or a former Yahoo CEO mentioning the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse being Google, Facebook, Amazon, and I forgot what the last one was. I think I've mentioned this before a long time ago, I can't remember what the fourth one was.
Into the concept of venture capital. It's not enough for us Americans to just profit. We have to potentially profit. Our franchises have become widely globalized in some of the most remote places on Earth.
Yep. Yeah, even places outside the U.S., they got it everywhere.
You can find either a McDonald's or a...
And the food is usually better in those places because we put too many preservatives in our food here in the U.S., so it doesn't taste as good. But... And then other countries have all sorts of unique menu items that always look really cool, but those types of items never really stick around except for limited time promotions.
AFC. And even the countries that either hate or restrict opening up an American franchise will often rip them off.
Burger Friends, yes. Oh, I've seen plenty of these before. Weichel, Alon.
Whether or not international laws.
Duff and Dagels, let's go. No, anyone up for some Duff and Dagels? We could probably bring our own pails of. We could probably bring huge buckets and have them fill it up with designer energy drinks.
Student suit or not is another question. The point is they know the idea works. In addition to entrepreneurship, innovation, creativity, and invention has been a deep-rooted part of our history. We were even the first country to have an electronic grid provided to citizens as a utility in 1882. The Wright brothers invented the first sustained and controlled airplane in 1903, which pioneered and revolutionized the air travel industry. We love getting the world involved.
To watch someone from Argentina try to argue otherwise, right? Was it Argentina that disputes whether or not the Orvilles made the were the ones that made the first airplanes?
In our commerce. This is in large part thanks to our free market and capitalistic economic.
These are not originally American ideas.
Model in which market is run by the consumers. And basically thanks to our loose marketing laws, almost anything in the realm of public decency can be advertised.
Your ad here.
Go so far as advertise things like medicines, colleges.
Life keeps happening. You hurt.
Yes, even the famous attorney.
Call this law.
Settlement claim billboards and cheesy commercials are an American staple.
Did you get hit by a car? Did you get mesothelioma? Or did you get shot by a bear with mesothelioma? Well, call right now because you might be entitled to financial compensation.
Let's go.
I love those commercials. In any case, some people like to vacation in our nature zones, like our favorite animal correspondent. You know what? This time I believe it's just Caleb. Take it away.
Hi guys.
Okay,
you know, I've been
yeah, that's back when he did this as a little gimmick.
Eerie Harlow on this channel for a while, but as we reach the home country, it's time to be real.
It's time to bring back your American accent.
This is the real me.
It actually is.
It actually is. So he's a wild madman.
You couldn't tell before because I was wearing a hat and a disguise. Just like Noah, also hailing from the great
so like Perry the Platypus.
state of Iowa. It is I, the American, Caleb Seaton. So, the USA is classified as one of the top 10 mega-diverse nations on Earth. Over 600 species of reptiles and amphibians, more than 800 species of birds, over 430 species of mammals.
We have all of the creatures. So long as it has no mushrooms, I'm pretty sure they all have mushrooms.
The largest mammal within our country being the North American bison. Today, we have 63 national parks, 13 of which are UNESCO World Heritage Sites, including the world's first national park, and probably our most famous one,
Yellowstone. The one with the mega volcano underneath it.
The swampy parts of the Deep South is the reptile haven. You have
yes, we have, it's a typical day in Florida be like.
Gators and turtles lurking everywhere. There are even crossing signs with gators on.
Gator crossing.
In the Rockies, we have black and brown bears, bobcats, and mountain lions. Remember that time we saw a bear and what was that? Oh my gosh, let me tell you this story.
It's time for a little diatribe.
So Paul and I went on a camping trip up near Mammoth, California. One of the stupidest things we've ever done because we were like just warming up around the fire and I look behind Paul. It's a freaking bear like 15 feet away from you.
You found a bear. Are you kidding me?
Is that a black bear?
That's a freaking bear.
We almost died. In the Alaskan North, you can find grizzlies and polar bears, as well as narwhals and walruses. In the deserts, we have coyotes, javelinas, desert tortoises, and tarantulas. All along the west coast, you have harbor and elephant seals, giant Humboldt squids, porpoises, dolphins, and whales. Our tropical islands are home to some of the most amazing endemic bird and fish species, such as the Hawaiian honey creeper, and the nene. And the state
nene
fish, the humu humu nuku nuku apua'a.
Let's go.
Did I do that right? Oh my God. And that, of course, brings us...
And then, of course, we have the all-American bald eagle that the media likes to portray their sounds wrong.
To our national animal, the bald eagle. Majestic, powerful, and swift. This eagle is found usually by large bodies of water as they prefer fish. They build the...
Like when most people think about the eagle, the noises that the eagle makes, they think of that one screech. You probably know which one I'm talking about. But that's not what an eagle sounds like. Eagles make these high-pitched chirping sounds.
Largest nests out of any bird on Earth. And yes, it is true, all American citizens, whether born or naturalized, are able to summon one at their will in times of emergency.
In fact, I just summoned one right now. I don't have a, unfortunately, I do not have a decal on my, I should have gotten a decal for OBS, but I decided not to. Yellowstone would be cool to see geothermal yeah. Just like that.
I should salute it. And speaking of emergencies, I have to get back to my wife Jillian because I just had a second baby. Say hi to Eden Ray. She enjoys making bubbles out of her mouth. Cheers, guys.
Thank you, Caleb. Actually, fun fact, the whole reason I got involved with geography now
Oh no, it'll come back up after playing the vid.
originally was because I met Barb's at Caleb's wedding.
And it's been great since then. Woo!
How about that? Enough on that. Let's discuss the food. First, let's start off with the American classic breakfast. You've seen it. Pancakes, bacon.
Yes, this is, yeah, I'd eat pretty much everything except for the sausage here.
Sausage, eggs, and don't forget...
And I'd prefer my eggs scrambled.
Those hash browns. However, most Americans will eat another iconic American invention, cereal.
Cereal. Well, I mean, the cereals in the ancient sense are very different from this. These cereals are like well over 90% sugar.
That's right. We invented the fastest breakfast on earth. You just add milk and done. Otherwise, we have some very iconic regional cuisines. For one, let's bring it to the native...
Yeah, every state has its own unique thing going on.
American side. Such dishes that are shared amongst numerous tribes in the lower 48 include things like fry bread, bison jerky, Three Sisters stew, wojapi, pemmican, wild rice. Whereas for the Inuits up north, you might find whale blubber / meat, caribou / reindeer meat and sausage, cloudberry or salmonberry jams, smoked Alaskan salmon, king crab legs, and a goudak, their dessert. Whereas on the islands like Hawaii and Samoa, you'll find many dishes baked in their own versions of the earth oven. Poi, or mashed purple taro paste, and kukui nut meat is a staple in many dishes. They specialize in numerous garnished seafood dishes like ahi-ahi and Pacific lobster. And the immigrants, like the Filipinos, Portuguese...
Yes, and of course we have to talk about all the immigration influences.
...and Japanese even have incorporated their own fusion to modern-day Hawaiian cuisine.
Wait, what happened? Wait, did some... I didn't get any copyright problem. Or at least not to my knowledge. I didn't notice anything wrong. What did it say? So you guys mixed the eagle. So did you guys see the part where they were talking about the eagle? No, what the hell was being copy claimed? That doesn't make any sense. Here, I'll pause it. There, is it back now? I saw that the error message is gone. It clearly wasn't the video, because I played the video for like 20 minutes, and there didn't seem to be anything wrong. So it's clearly the music. Let me see if I can find that. I got it from this hour-long thing. Turn it down a little more. It's an hour long. The thingy itself was like an hour long, and by the 50-minute mark is when it seemed to have started. No, it couldn't have been this that we were watching, because it would have happened 20 minutes ago. How far into the video did you guys see? That way we can rewind it. How much did you got? At what point did it stop? In relation to the video here. If anyone can give a rough idea. Were we at this animal section? Okay, I guess I can pay attention to the music. Well, this will be the last thing that we do anyway, but I'll still pay attention to the music. I'll just start it back from here.
Largest nests out of any bird on Earth. And yes, it is true, all American citizens, whether born or naturalized, are able to summon one at their will in times of emergency.
Yes, this is how you summon an eagle.
I should salute it. And speaking of emergencies, I have to get back to my wife Jillian because I just had a second baby. Say hi to Eden Ray. She enjoys making bubbles out of her mouth. Cheers, guys.
Thank you, Caleb. Actually, fun fact, the whole reason I got involved with Geography Now originally was because I met Barb's at Caleb's wedding.
And it's been great since then. Woo!
How about that? Enough on that. Let's discuss the food. First, let's start.
Now, after the stream is over, I'll probably get an email from YouTube saying that it might be blocked in some places. That's kind of what happened. No. The Civilization 4 streams got copyright notices, specifically in the context of Belarus and Russia's sanctions, because certain things were being claimed. I was only out for 4 minutes tops. Because I know that there were a lot of the Civilization 4 videos were blocked in Russia and Belarus because of the sanctions, but that's about it. So clearly, obviously, Russia and Belarus are not going to be big fans of U.S. patriotic songs. I bet you it was a Russian psyop. No, Russia caught wind of what we were doing, and they decided to send their strongest soldiers after me.
Start off with the American classic breakfast. You've seen.
Here, now let's actually talk about breakfast. Would you guys eat this on a regular basis? I would eat it, but I wake up too late for this to be essential.
Pancakes, bacon, sausage.
I'd eat everything here except for the sausage, and I'd rather have my eggs scrambled.
Eggs, and don't forget those hash browns. However, most Americans will eat another iconic American invention, cereal. That's right.
And then I made mention that most cereals here in the U.S. are mostly sugar.
We invented the fastest breakfast on Earth. You just add milk and done. Otherwise, we have some very iconic regional cuisines. For one, let's bring it to the Native American side. Such dishes that are shared amongst numerous tribes in the lower 48 include things like fry bread, bison jerky,
They're no match for me, no. The Ruskies can't do shit to me.
Three Sisters stew, ojapi, pemmican, wild rice. Whereas for the Inuits up north, you might find whale blubber / meat, caribou / reindeer meat and sausage, cloudberry or salmonberry jams, smoked Alaskan salmon, king crab legs, and a gudok, their dessert. Whereas on the islands like Hawaii and Samoa, you'll find many dishes baked in their own versions of the earth oven. Poi, or mashed purple taro paste, and kukui nut meat is a staple in many dishes. They specialize in numerous garnished seafood dishes like ahi-ahi and Pacific lobster. And the immigrants, like the Filipinos, Portuguese, and Japanese, even have incorporated their own fusion to modern-day Hawaiian cuisine.
Yes, and I was going to make mention of all the immigrant influence of foods.
Things like lokomoko, spam musubi, and
Spam musubi. Oh yeah, I've seen Japanese people use spam in some of their foods.
And poke bowls. Then we get to soul food, which you've probably heard.
Soul food, yes. You see, move out to the suburbs and suddenly you're too good for soul food. You see, yes, Southern comfort, huge influence from Black Americans. Because you see, we have, what was it? Fried chicken, waffle, breakfast, egg, lasagna, and then bacon-wrapped chitlin stuffed catfish, and then the Luther, a full-pound burger patty covered with cheese, glazed onions, 5 strips of bacon, all sandwiched between 2 Krispy Kreme donuts. It's called the Luther because it was supposed to have been...
fried.
Oh my fucking God. It's not the music. There must be some sort of bot that's claiming it. I don't know why it took 20 minutes for it to be claimed. Which doesn't make any sense. We've taken a look at I remember taking a look at quite a few Geography Now videos in the past. At least live on stream. But for some reason, I don't understand. Because I know that the Joe Rogan podcast, it does the same thing. Like, it auto-detects when, like, there's some bot that auto-detects when someone is reacting to the Joe Rogan podcast, and that you simply just have to appeal to them, and then it comes back. So maybe that's what's going on here. Why Why is it whenever there's something that I really want to do that's on theme with the stream, it doesn't work out? No, this happened when we tried to this same exact thing happened like last year when we tried to watch that movie, whatever it was called. I already forgot what the name of that movie was. It was that old animated movie from the 70s about a couple trying to survive a nuclear bomb. I already forgot what it was called, but that got copy claimed to the extent that the stream itself was basically like a no longer stream at that time, and I had to restart it altogether. And then it caused a warning to appear on my channel that wouldn't go away for 90 days. No, the error message said that it had some, that it featured content that belonged to someone else. So this video was the source of the claim. And I don't know how to dispute the claims, honestly. Especially live. I wouldn't have this problem if I were streaming on Kick or Twitch, because they're a little more lax when it comes to that kind of thing. But YouTube doesn't give a damn. And everyone who's ever made content on YouTube knows this for a fact. That YouTube's copyright system is a pain in the ass. No, it's very no. Stuff like this is the reason why we gained independence from Britain, so that we wouldn't have to deal with this kind of tyranny. No, YouTube has become Great Britain, let's be real. And I, with this stream, am trying to gain independence. No, this is my independence war. This is my revolutionary war right now. I'm trying to be a patriot and watch a patriotic video, but no, YouTube's copyright system decided that it didn't want to do that. Nah. If we were to be realistic, then I'd have to pause this like every 5 seconds. Either that... No, if I continue watching this video, I might get an actual strike. Either that or something else. No, I don't know what to do now. YouTube decided that we're not watching this, which is complete bullshit. Something that I can do. There's a YouTube drama with UK laws going on right now. Yes, I'm sure that there is. It's fucking stupid. And what laws are the UK trying to pass? No, what's more patriotic for an American like me than making fun of the British? Or at the very least making fun of the British government specifically. Because we can go to Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles, you know what I'm saying?
Fried chicken and waffles, fried okra, macaroni and
fried okra. We might have to do the strat where we pause every 5 seconds. Mac and cheese.
Collard greens, ham hocks.
I don't even know what a ham hock is.
Speaking of the South, our best kept secret, Cajun food.
Cajun food? Yeah, Cajun fries are good. You know what, YouTube? I really don't want to have to deal with this. You win this round. Didn't watch it yet. Mudahar, the guy that said he was an engineer for 10 years or something. In the same way that Pirate Software said that he was the first ever second generation employee at Blizzard, but he never talks about it. Do not look directly at the Firefox's eyes. It's not safe. I don't know what Firefox is hiding, and quite frankly, I don't really care. We're gonna put Muda. OBS translated but Muda as shut up. Brother, I am troubled. The fat kine. I don't know. What exactly are the British doing? What exactly is the British government doing? And maybe we'll decide in that context. She's Kush crazy. And then the SpongeBob party game is a nightmare. We can scroll through, and then we can find something to look at. Because YouTube, well, it's no wonder the YouTube logo is red. Bunch of commie bastards. Oh, Lord. The most deformed animals we've made. Online ID laws for it. I thought we're still making laws about that? No, they've been talking about those laws for the past how long? 2 to 3 years? They're still making new ones? Or is it the new ones for people under 16? Because I know that there's... Because I remember hearing about that on the Yu-Gi-Oh! Podcast. Australia's at it too. I'm sure they are. Doggone tired. Now at this point, I don't even know what to look at. No, I have my heart was I was dead set on watching the Geography Now video, but instead copyright. We could look at why hip-hop loves Ed, Edd and Eddy. That would actually be something. That would actually be something to look at. Oh, wait. I had this lined up as well. 30 or something in the States. I know Texas kind of had that one thing regarding certain types of anime. Here, let me just get this open. Hello, hello, hello. Hello, hello, hello. Alone, alone, alone. I'll have this up if we want to watch it. It's about where we draw the line between different writing systems. Xenon. Oh, were you trying to spell hello using Cyrillic? OBS, the OBS YouTube chat widget that I have auto-translated Zeno as Xenon, as in the noble gas. I don't know how to disable that on OBS. I'm just leaving it there because I don't feel like changing it. Chernobyl simulation, no talk. The Call of Cthulhu by Dr. Seuss. An adult read-along from Lovecraft. Funny Huskies, the funniest Huskies. African Tale, Soviet cartoon. You know what? Here, we'll look at this instead. Making an American flag traditionally. I highly doubt this will get copy claim, goddammit. Here, we'll look at how an American flag is traditionally made. What could possibly be more patriotic than that, I ask you? Let us watch. Red. White.
Today I'm going to try
and blue.
to make a fully sewn American flag using only my domestic sewing.
Hold on, here. I accidentally left the volume down. You got the color. You got the order of the colors wrong, but red, white, and blue.
Today I'm going to try to make a fully sewn American flag using only my
speedrun. You recently watched the classic Mario 64 Parallel Universe Explainer.
domestic sewing machine. The proportion ratios of this flag are most straightforward if you use a stripes width as your single unit of measure. This
okay. We have a 13 by 25 with the canton being 10 and all the stripes being 1.
This way everything can be neatly rounded to whole numbers. And in inches, these are the numbers that I have chosen to go with.
What exactly is the ratio? Each flag in the world has its own unique ratios on how it's supposed to be made.
The placement of the 50 stars on the blue bit is simple to figure out.
Yeah.
Vertically, the stars are aligned along 12 columns. And horizontally, they are aligned along 10 columns. I have drawn a paper pattern of the entire blue section with all of the columns drawn onto it.
Do we have the right shade of blue, though?
As well as circles to mark the star placements. I can then just mark around this pattern with chalk onto the blue fabric, adding all of my seam allowances.
There we go. Let's go. No. YouTube thought that they could keep us down. No. No. Just as the US stood strong in the face of many insurmountable odds, we are going to stay strong even in this context. Shout out Betsy Ross.
And these are the allowances that I'm adding around this piece.
We have to cut this carefully. You couldn't understand the jokes on Terminal Logs Fox versus Speedrun Mario. Ugh.
Next, I'm going to cut out...
And now time for our stripes.
All of my white pieces.
Whose broad stripes and bright stars.
The pattern, I've simply taped together A4 sheets of paper and just cut them to the appropriate length of these stripes. And these are the seam allowances that I'm adding to all of my stripes, both white and red. For all of the white stars, I'm going to use my pattern piece for the blue section and cut out 2 of these.
This looks like a bed sheet, the way that this folds here.
And these 2 pieces won't need any seam allowances at all. For all of the red stripes, I'm simply reusing that same pattern I used for the white stripes and just drawing around these as well, including all of the same seam allowances as I showed earlier. Now that everything is cut out, I'm going to begin making the blue section with all the 50 stars first.
Oh man, imagine how painstaking that this would be.
With my pattern piece, I begin...
Now, what is the most technical flag that isn't from a US city? Because there are some US city flags that just look absurd.
By cutting out all of those circles that mark the star placements.
And then we'd have to make sure that all of the stars are like all of the exact same shapes.
I now lay down one of my white pieces of fabric and place this adapted pattern on top of it.
Do you have a star template?
For the stars,
okay, yeah.
I have drawn out a separate singular pattern onto card paper for a bit more durability.
But we have to do this 50 times.
Using this star as a template, I just have to place it into the circle and draw around it with a pencil. I then continue on and draw around this star in all 50 circles, leaving me
the amount of time that this would take. Only a true patriot could put up with it.
With a pencil outline of perfectly uniform.
Only, I'm assuming based on this guy's accent, he's British.
Form stars, all of which are laid out and arranged accurately thanks to the pattern. I can now bring out my blue fabric and I place this white sheet with the stars on top of it, carefully positioned within the seam allowances on the blue piece.
How are we going to get rid of all the chocolate stuff? Would we have to wash it afterwards?
The white fabric, I put a pin in each corner just to tack it in place for now. I then flip both pieces over and then I place my second white piece of fabric on top of this. I add a few more pins on the corners of this side just to hold it in place, and then I flip it back over again. Now on the side with the star drawings, I add lots of pins all over it to hold all three pieces together for sewing.
Oh, okay, I see what he's doing. Oh, I get it. So that you make it seem like that it's on both sides.
To sew these three layers together and to start forming the stars, I'm going to sew a tightly
oh my god, the amount of time that it would take. You have to do this for every single star.
Along all of my pencil lines. And I take my time and carefully
oh god, that looks amazing.
Sew around all 50 stars.
This would be good in a satisfying video compilation. Now imagine this with East Asian sweatshop labor. Because every day, Ed Wunsler puts one foot on the ground and the other foot up the butt of a little Indonesian girl.
At this stage, even though you can't see it, all of the stars have been sewn. And the next step is to cut away all of the excess white fabric around the stars.
Oh, I thought it was cutting the blue part as well.
To make it a bit easier, I like to cut along all of the rows in between the stars first.
Okay, I see.
And then it's just cutting away all of the excess white fabric as near to the stitching line as I can possibly get.
Yeah.
And of course I have to do this for all 50 stars.
And you have to be super duper careful.
After cutting around
looking good.
all of the stars, this is how they turned out. Is it perfect? Of course not.
Doesn't need to be. This is America.
But without an embroidery machine, I think this is nice enough. So far, I've cut out the 50 stars on one side.
But we still have the other side.
I now have to flip it over and repeat the whole thing again for the back.
Once again.
And with all of the cutting
oh yeah, the canton is done.
Finished, this is now the blue section completed.
All 50 there and accounted for. All that's next is the stripes.
The next section I'll make is the group of shorter stripes that sit next to the stars, making the upper half of the flag. Personally, I like to lay out these stripes onto the floor in position so it's nice and obvious where I am. The order you sew these stripes together doesn't really matter.
Actually, it kind of does.
But in this case, I'll be working from the bottom up to the top. I flip over the second last stripe and place the bottom one on top of it, staggered by that 3/8 of an inch seam allowance.
Oh yeah, we have to make sure that they're all lined up.
And I then pin these together all the way along.
Oh, that's what you mean.
To sew these together, I begin with a row of stitching 3/4 of an inch away from the white piece's edge. With the first row of stitching holding
Oh, like that. I understand
the
now.
pieces together, I can then open out the pieces so that both front sides are facing upwards. I then fold the longer white seam allowance around the shorter red one and
There we go. Now I understand.
stitch it down. And this completes the drawing. This is a traditional flag seam where all raw edges are neatly tucked away on both sides.
Nice.
Returning to the stripes,
And then we rinse and
flip
repeat.
over the next piece and place these two already sewn pieces on top of it, again staggered by that small seam allowance. These are again pinned together all the way down, and then sewn together the same way with those 2 rows of stitching.
There we go.
And with this same method, I just continue
And
on
we just keep on
all the way
going.
to the top. And at the end, this is how they all look sewn together.
Oh, that looks so good.
I think it looks pretty neat overall.
That little candy cane swirl going on there.
Now that I have the stripes of the upper half finished, and the blue section with stars also finished, I can now sew these two together.
Okay.
I flip over the blue piece because it needs to be facing downwards. And then I place the stripes on top of it, and these are facing upwards. And these are also staggered by that 3/8 of an inch. I then add pins along this edge to hold them together for sewing. These two pieces will also be sewn together in the usual way, beginning with 1 row of stitching, then folding around the allowances and top stitching again. And this is now the upper half of the whole flag finished.
You know, that's a flag in and of itself.
So the next section to make is the lower half of the flag, which consists of stripes only.
Yeah.
Once again, I like to lay these out onto the floor in
And these are much longer.
position so that I know where I am. And of course these stripes run the whole length of the flag. And for this section it also doesn't matter which order you sew the stripes together, but I will be beginning from the bottom and working my way up to the top again. And they are all placed together, pinned and sewn exactly the same way as before.
Rinse and repeat. Only these ones are longer. Just based on the fact that these are just the stripes themselves, this is obviously the easier part.
And these are all of the stripes now sewn together, and this completes the lower half of the flag. I will now bring over the upper half and lay it in position. And this also needs to be flipped over to face downwards. Then the bottom half of the flag is placed on top of it facing upwards, staggered by that 3/8 of an
Hopefully we'll have all of these stray strands of fabric cut out.
And then simply once again loads of pins are added all the way down. To sew these two pieces together, I once again begin with a row of stitching 3/4 of an inch away from the bottom piece's edge. I then fold that longer seam allowance around the shorter one and top stitch it down. With the two halves now
Oh yeah,
sewn
let's
together,
go!
the entire design of the flag is basically finished. The only thing that remains is to seal off the edges and attach a hanging fixture.
Let's go.
To do the flag's edges, I always like to begin on the right-hand edge. I fold over that 3/4 of an inch seam allowance and iron it down. I then fold over that seam allowance in half once again to conceal the raw edges and iron it again. I've added lots of pins to hold it in place, and then I simply sew it with 2 rows of top stitching. I then repeat this same process to seal off the top and bottom edges.
Beautiful flag it is. Old glory.
As well. The very last thing to do for this flag is to add its hanging fixture. That's why the left-hand edge is still open. I've cut a strip
And this was made by hand.
of white fabric,
And that makes it special.
which is 3 inches longer than the flag and 3 inches in width. And I place this down along
Oh, that's for like
the
hanging.
open edge and
I
pin
get
it in
it.
place. The extra fabric on either end is just folded around to the back and pinned as well. This is simply initially sewn on with a normal straight stitch. The extra allowance can then be trimmed off to make more space for the rope. The resulting flaps on either end are just pulled upwards and sewn to itself along its raw edge.
Ah, okay.
With the flag facing downwards, I can now measure out and cut my length of rope. I usually like to cut a length of rope which is 2 times the flag's height. I lay this rope in the middle of my white strip and then fold this strip in half around it.
Yeah, especially having to make those stars. That's having to work on all of those stars is definitely looks like it's the most painstaking part.
Place. This white strip is then simply secured with a row of top stitching near to its edge. I want to make a loop at the top end of the flag, so I've rolled a bit of sellotape around the loose end to prevent it from unraveling, and then I fold it down back into the heading. The size can just be adjusted by pulling on the other end until it looks about right. For the bottom end, I will simply let the rope hang loose. To hold these in place, I do a few rows of top stitching in a couple of places, and that's usually more than enough. This completes my process, or my attempt rather, at making a fully sewn American flag. Hopefully it's given you some ideas or some inspiration, and I'll see you again next time.
Let's go. Let's go. Making American Civil War flags. I wonder. No. We take those. And apparently there's some other flags that this guy has made as well. Making a Latveria flag from Avengers Doomsday, and then making the British Union Jack. And then the Welsh Dragon. Oh god, that would be so cool. Alrighty then. No, even after that debacle that we had earlier, we were still able to end on a high note. I salute you, old Star-Spangled Banner. Okay then, 4:24, I have to finish up soon. Let's see. Unless anyone has some sort of last minute thing. I doubt that there's really anything else to look at this point. Excuse me. Okay, you know what? So, unfortunately, the stream didn't exactly go the way that I wanted it to. I really, really wanted to watch the Geography Now video with everybody. The Brooklyn Bridge caught on fire last night. Maybe we could look at funny huskies on Wednesday. Oh man, I really wanted to look at the Geography Now video. No, I was dead set on watching it with you guys. I thought about it earlier when I was at work. I was like, oh, we have to watch the Geography Now United States video. But apparently they had some sort of copy claim bot, so... Or at least from what I could tell, so unfortunately that just didn't happen. But at least we got to look at the... Oh, during a fireworks show? I guess that explains why it caught on fire. That's unfortunate. I'm guessing they were able to put it out. Because if it were in California, they wouldn't have been able to do anything because they used up all the water to save the smelt fish. I mean, you saw what happened with the fires that swept through California the other year. Be well. Still a great show though. Yeah. Could have been better, but but that's America for you. Just when we think we got it made, suddenly something kicks us in the ass, but we get back up. All right. Thank you all so much for watching. 2 fire engines, nice. thank you all so much for watching. And this concludes our broadcast day, or the land of the free and the home of the brave. And we'll be back on Monday to continue our Stardew Valley whatnots. So, thank you all so much for watching. Take care, everyone. Salute to all of you. God bless. Good night. God bless you. And God bless the United States of America. Because this is Barack Obama.